Hey everybody. I'm waiting for some people to show up, but hey, it's the weekly Alaboom, and I didn't want to stand around. I know Scott is in uh visiting family in Memphis. He's walking in Memphis. But as I wait for Matt and Evan and the rest of the people that said they were gonna be here tonight show up, I figured I'd go live and you know just wait to see who shows up in the old live stream chat room, and then I figured I'd just turn around and just ask if anybody's got questions, or and we can just kind of go back and forth a little bit. I'm heading to my uh, I'm heading to my brother-in-law's house tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I hope for those of you who celebrate the Thanksgiving, I hope you are uh, going to travel safe or host safe or what have you. And I hope it all goes well. Um, I am looking forward to spending that time with my extended family, and my mother will be there as well. My father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister and brother-in-law, and my nieces. They have two kids just like me, and yeah, it should be pretty awesome. Um, I got PAX Unplugged coming up here in a little bit. It's been a long time since I've been in Philly, uh, but I am I'm hoping that goes over pretty well. I don't, like I said, I haven't been in Philly for quite a while, so I have a lot of questions as far as I mean, the food's always good when I've been there. My boss Shane will be there with me, and he knows the food pretty well. There's a few places that he uh, really enjoys, so I'm looking forward to that. Um, let's see what else is going on. I want to take some time. I did a video earlier this week for a game called Love Conquers All. And it's by a friend of mine who is the owner and runs Guerrilla Games, Jeff Sidek. He's a super nice guy, super awesome guy, and the game's really awesome. And I would take it as a personal thank you if you'd go and check that game out, and even more of a personal thank you if you took some time and gave him, I think it's like a $25 to get the game, which is next to nothing in today's economy. $25, that's like $1 million. But uh no, it's not that much. But no, you know what I'm saying. Oh, I normally like, like I get, as an old man, I start getting like as the evening approaches, I kind of need a jolt of cocaine. No, a jolt of caffeine. No, I need a little bit of a pickup, and I will normally drink like they're called an orange kickstart, and but normally I get them through Amazon, and like I usually get them. You order them, and so where I live in Moorhead, I have a Amazon distribution center like in a town right next to mine. Fargo, North Dakota has an giant Amazon distribution center there. And there's a ton of things that I can order. And if I order them before like 9 p.m. on a certain day, they will be delivered the next day. And so I've always just like, oh, I'll order it and I'll get it. But they didn't have it. They were like, oh, they had run out or whatever. And it was like 1 to 3 weeks to get them. So I had to get, a decent, citrus or whatever, the orange citrus. It's called Ultra Sunrise, but it's not a bad little energy drink. So I got that. Um, uh, so that's my drink. for this evening. Uh, things that I played. My son and I played a few board games the other night. Uh, we played. Oh, I was talking about Love Conquers All. I'm sorry. Love Conquers All is a uh, tile laying polyomino game where each person has to play a card and a strange shaped Tetris shaped polyomino thing goes on the board. And when you place that down, you then have to you then like it gives you a rule that you have to abide by, and these are negative rules. Well, there's one type of card that isn't, or one type of tile that isn't. It's like a card that's love, and but you have to place that, and then you have to abide by that negative rule until you're able to get rid of that card. You get rid of that card by having it be attached to a tile. The tile that represents that card is attached to a tile that is represents a love tile. And when that gets played, it it removes that card from your rules, and so then you can go back to playing without that rule that's been kind of holding you back. Um, it's a super clever game. It is a lot of fun. I played that with my son. We goofed around with it. And I played with my friends as well. Played really great as a two-player game. Played great as a 3 and 4 player game as well. So go check that out. On Kickstarter right now. Love Conquers All. Plus, Jeff's been on the show before, so there's that as well. So I mean, he's a friend of the pod. So if you're a person who watches the Alaboom, I've said this to a few people, but I would consider it a personal favor if you were to go and uh, you know back that game and help a friend out. I'd really appreciate that if that's the case. All right, so he even has as one of his pledge levels, like it's like $100, but he will travel to your home and play the game with you. Uh, there are some rules that govern that. Some things like as far as uh they would uh it would be a situation where uh we're I'm losing my train of thought here. Um it has to be with like close to like a hub, like an airline hub, that would allow him to do that. So like you can't like live in Uzbekistan, but if you lived in Uzbekistan, he would be willing to do a Zoom play over TTS kind of thing. So there's that. Um, but so yeah, go check out Love Conquers All, uh, with by Jeff Sidek and Guerrilla Games. I see that I am finally being joined by Harry Glasscock, so which is
What's
nice.
up?
You got no camera tonight, Anthony?
I'm actually in the middle of cooking, so
Hmm. What are you cooking?
I just made stuffing and mac and cheese, and now I'm getting stuff ready for the stuff we got to make tomorrow.
Kraft mac and cheese. That's some tough stuff.
No crap mac and cheese. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Shells and cheese. Kraft.
It's the holidays. It's deluxe.
Yeah, Velveeta. Oh yeah, my wife swears by the Velveeta shells and cheese. She loves it.
Yeah.
So,
No, I don't eat mac and cheese unless it's homemade.
oh,
No. I made candied sweet potatoes. And I'm just figuring out what I guess I have to do before I go to bed.
where are you doing the thing?
Here at the house. So all six of our kids will be here together at one time for the first time since we got married.
Hmm, that's crazy.
Yes.
Um, you are uh so how many people do you think you're gonna have then?
Just the eight of us. There's no
Just
extra,
the eight of us.
no extras, no girlfriends, boyfriends, significant others, in-laws, just us.
I remember, I mean, I've had lots of good Thanksgivings. But one of my all-time favorite Thanksgivings was um uh you come on, someone look like I can't even talk. My mind's like all over the place. What was I talking about?
Thanksgiving, one of your all-time.
Thanksgiving. Well, okay, yeah, yeah. So, my dad left town, my mom left town. Nobody was around. I wasn't married. I didn't have a girlfriend. I was a big loser, living in my apartment by myself. And but my buddy Shad said, "You can come to my house and have Thanksgiving at my house." And I must have been, I think I was like 27 or 28. I don't know. It was late 20s, maybe early 30s, but I'm pretty sure it was mid to late 20s. And I remember we went there, and I mean he and I just had a blast. Like we enjoyed it. I mean, there are so many good memories I have of that, but one of my favorites was his father-in-law. uh like Shad went and got a few bottles of wine out, and he was like sitting there, and then he asked him, and he's like he asked his father-in-law, "Hey, would you mind?" And he handed him the corkscrew, and he said, "Would you mind opening those and letting him breathe?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he picked up one bottle, and like just the reading glasses, pulls it a little bit further away, and he goes, "Ah, Merlot." Just like, and he wasn't being funny. He just, and I remember I just went, Merlot.
Yeah, so the past few Thanksgivings we really haven't done anything because the kids are usually with the other parents.
You know?
So we usually do the day after. But since my stepkid's dad is in Florida and wasn't coming back to New York, we decided we'll do regular Thanksgiving here. So, and then tomorrow we're gonna go to my in-laws with leftovers. So,
Uh,
well, tomorrow, Friday, we're gonna go with leftovers.
well, I don't know if you heard me, but I'm going to my brother-in-law's. Um, he's a big Lions fan. He has been forever. So, um, that'll be enjoyable. And my father-in-law is a huge Cowboys fan.
Ah,
So,
all right.
so which will be fine. I mean, it'll uh what's the line? What's his face? Norm Macdonald said. He said, "I need glasses to see my family. Two glasses of scotch."
Ah, good times.
My wife said, "Do you want to get any alcohol?" And I was just like, I mean, I said, I'm gonna be, the food's gonna make me tired as it is. I mean, I don't want to go and, you know, then be even more tired. But we went. I mean, like I don't really drink anymore, but I went and got a 6 pack of Negra Modelo. Uh, Something that I know if I have like two of them, I can leave it there and somebody else will absorb it. I don't have to worry about it.
That's very good. So, if you have to look, because it's going to be out this time of year, so both Modelo and Dos Equis make special beer for Christmas time. Dos Equis one is called Buena Noche, um,
Okay.
and the I forgot them what the Modelo's was is called, but it's really really good. So like if you took a have you had like a Dos Equis dark?
I probably have at some
So
point, yeah.
it's like oh it's close to the dark, but it's a different. It's really good. And they only make it for Christmas. The
Hmm.
Buenos Noche is supposed to be drunk on Christmas Eve. That's what they refer to as Christmas Eve, the beautiful night.
Well, I'll have to keep my eyes out
Keep
for
your eyes
that.
out for it.
Um, the uh the liquor there's a I've talked about this before, but there's a grocery store that is right next to our house, and like a 1 minute drive. It's where my kid works. But it has um a strip mall, like lots of these places do. It has a strip mall attached to it, and the liquor store, Bridgeview Liquors. Um,
Can you go for a date there in the supermarket? And
no, no, sadly, no. Actually, you probably could because there is a bar there, but I think it's for like events, like wine
oh,
tasting
okay.
events and things like that. But yeah, there's like this full bar inside of it. It's kind of weird, but I don't think that was the weirdest thing ever, man. That would like let's go hit up the bar
At the
at the
grocery
grocery
store.
store. Yeah. We'll have to see if we find that in Philly.
I don't think so.
Um, no, anyway, so but it's always packed with people. It doesn't matter what day, what time, because it's like it's the closest liquor store to the North Dakota border, and they have this huge selection of the THC infused drinks.
Uh,
And so all the people that live in Fargo, when they're like, well, I gotta go get my drugs, and so they drive over, and the the place to hit up and to go is that's the number one place. So, but yeah, so I was we got all the stuff. When are you getting? Just sorry to talk business, everybody,
Thailand.
but when are you getting into Philly?
Thursday, like around noon.
Yeah, that's I mean, I think my plane lands at 11 and then I'll probably kick around and wait until noon because that's when Shane's flight gets in, and
All
then
right.
we'll Uber over. Um,
Where are you guys staying?
that's I let me pull up my emails. My emails. Um, let's see here. Packs unplugged. Uh, Packs unplugged. Oh, uh, I think the Hilton Garden
Okay. I don't know where that is.
or possibly Home to Suites.
Home
They're
to
like
yeah, Home to Suites is it's like half a block away.
so it's one of those two because
Okay. I
he reserved both
think they
of
might be next
those.
to each other. So yeah, you're like
Oh,
pretty much across the street from the Reading Terminal Market. I'm just past the Reading Terminal Market.
nice.
Oh.
Um, but I know we packaged up all the Larian stuff to head over as well as and then um there's no drayage fees at PAX
Yes, I
Unplugged.
heard.
Yes. So
I know they did it the first year to get people to go, but I didn't know they would continue it.
yep, they're continuing to do that. Uh
So would you want to explain what drayage is for people who don't know what drayage is?
so drayage is a big giant con, is what it is.
It's a scam.
It's a giant scam. So you arrange for people to uh grab your games. You put your games on a pallet, you contact your freight company, a truck comes and picks up your stuff, and then you pay them to freight it to a place. So you'll bring one, two, or three, or whatever number of pallets, and they get delivered. And then when they get to when the delivery truck gets to the convention center or wherever it is, they will have a staff there that will have basically a person that basically, and these are union workers, of course, that unload the item because the truck driver doesn't unload it. There's somebody there that unloads it and then will bring it to your booth. And in some cases, this is the process of which, it isn't. I mean, these are heavy things, but it's basically somebody with a forklift who picks it up off the back of the truck, and then they will bring it down, and then there will be people with hand trucks. And if you've probably seen these things, that they will pick up those pallets, and then they will deliver them to your booth location. And in some cases, it's literally a guy taking it from in the back to your booth, and it's like 500 feet that they, and then they just walk it, and then they'll charge you $1,000 for it. But they have you by the short and curlies, as my grandfather would have said.
Because if you have any stuff left over, they charge you again to drag it out.
Yes, but the thing is that most people, like if your company or whatever, or your distribution center is based in Texas or Oklahoma or whatever, you're not in Philly, like you're not going to drive that stuff there. I mean, they can't stop you if you drive it yourself. They can't stop you from, like we do at Gen Con every year. Shane packs up a U-Haul trailer and he drives it to Indianapolis, and then we just we ourselves haul the stuff back and forth and get it all into the booth. And they can't stop you from doing that, but if you have to do it in, they will charge you like for the privilege of having them do it. So
yes, and then sometimes in some places, your stuff comes in on pallets, and then when you unload your pallets, they come pick up your empty pallets and they charge you to take those, and they keep them back for you, and they charge you a storage fee for those.
Oh yeah. They
So I remember working Gen Con with AEG. So the first year they did Big Game Night, I was there, and we literally packed they were bags at the time. They weren't boxes, but the box they give away of games. So we literally packed them inside of the event area that AEG had for all of their regular events, and we stored them there. But then they went to the boxes, and there wasn't enough room to store them, so they pay a ridiculous amount of money to the Indianapolis Convention Center to store all of those boxes for Big Game Night. And they have like 250 to 300 people at that thing. So figure 300 boxes of stuff, how many pallets that is. They literally have to pay to keep that in storage the entire time.
Yeah. It is especially like when people talk about Fern, they it is one of those things where people like, Fern, it's just I mean, it's the mob, baby. I mean, they just, they charge you $1 billion because they can.
Well, Gen Con at one time, don't know when it changed, wouldn't even let you bring the stuff in yourself through the back door.
Well, that's why what's his face over at Yellow? That's why he got in all that trouble that one time.
Yeah.
Let me say Shannon.
But so as I remember Frank and Dom DiLorenzo bringing stuff from their hotel on hand carts to fill their booth one year.
I believe it.
Because they wouldn't even let them go in the back. And then I remember it changed because I remember that Plaid Hat used to pull up to the back and just drag their stuff in themselves. but I don't know exactly when it changed. Sometime, but it was because it was like you can't handle anything on the loading dock if you weren't in the union. So I don't know if they renegotiated that and they're like, hey, we're going to carry our own stuff in. We're not using union workers. You know, we're not hiring scabs. These are the people who work for the company. So I don't know.
It's so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I mentioned that, but I mean, the story, of course, is that um they wouldn't let for yellow, they wouldn't let them. Remember, it wasn't because they got their stuff in late and they wouldn't let them use a hand cart because the carpet was down, because they wouldn't let the carpet be damaged, so they had to walk case after case after case of their game back and forth uh from wherever they had, like in the back, and back and forth and back and forth, and then at one point a security guard said, hey, can I see your badge? And the guy, even though and to be fair, he had been going in and out of the door like how many times, and then finally somebody said, let me see your badge, and then he gave him a bunch of BS and got into huge trouble. So
Giving them the business.
yeah, he was giving them the business.
Football. Did you guys actually sign Daniel Jones?
Yeah,
Okay.
for like it was like
The veteran minimum, right?
well, it's like $200,000 more than we're paying him $575,000 for the remainder of the year, and then he's a free agent at the end of the year.
All right.
So and I think, and this is what I think. So sorry about the football talk, ladies and gentlemen, but this is what I think. And I don't really care when it's like it's a nothing sign, right? He's on the practice squad. So we signed him and he's on the practice squad. Meaning that if somebody tries, I don't know how exactly it works, but if somebody tries to sign him off of the practice squad, which we've said, hey, go out and look if people want to grab you or whatever, feel free. Aldi is in Memphis. He said he might be able to log in briefly, but it's not he's visiting family in Memphis. All right, so
Enough.
he can, yeah, Mark Cohn. He's walking in Memphis. Yeah. So, and I think what if somebody signs somebody off of your practice squad, I think don't you get a compensatory pick or something like that? It's weird.
Yes.
Yes. So we signed him to our practice squad with the idea that he can be our emergency quarterback. And we and I think it's just one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, if he gets hurt, or if Sammy touchdowns, gets hurt, we don't have to rely on Nick Mullins or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I think what it could possibly be is it allows our quarterback whisperer of a coach, Kevin O'Connell, it gives him a chance to uh work with him a little bit, and see what he's got, and see I mean, instead of just scouting him, be able to see like what he's got and check his mental attitude and things like that. And if somebody turns around and tries to offer Sam Darnold some ridiculous contract, because he's only signed to a 1-year contract. So if somebody was like, well, look, he threw for whatever, maybe he'll throw for 4,000 yards this year. Probably not, but he'll throw for like 3,800 yards. He'll theoretically have somewhere around 28 touchdowns and 12 to 15 picks, and he'll have a good year, right? He'll do really well. And then somebody will show up and say, oh, well, how do you like a 5-year $200 million contract? Somebody's going to do that, and he's going to say yeah, because he's going to take the money, and we're not going to match that because we got the rookie JJ McCarthy. But we're going to be like, well, but we still need a bridge, right? And so then we can say, all right, we'll Daniel Jones, like we'll give you a $7 million 1 year contract or something
Right.
like that, and then we'll have him, sit there. Yeah, but I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just like it's. I'm not getting too excited about it. I mean, who cares? I mean, it's a big nothing burger of a sign.
Yeah. So like a couple of years ago, probably know the name. The kid Skylar Thompson, who's the backup quarterback for the Dolphins right now.
Yeah.
So he had a really good preseason. Like no one was expecting him because we had, to make the roster because we had Tua and we had Jacoby Brissett was the backup. So you couldn't have three quarterbacks, so it was a waste of a spot technically. And we had him and this other guy, Eric Ezekuma, who we actually just cut this year, who had really good preseasons, but they weren't ready to play. We actually didn't assign them to the practice squad. We signed them so no one could take them from the practice squad.
Mm.
So that happens sometimes too. And the thing about it is the NFL has like certain rules of how many times you can elevate a guy from the practice squad. So they just elevated a couple of other guys and then they had them there. But they also have the rule they had up until this year that your practice squad quarterback, your third string quarterback, actually dresses on Sunday in case both quarterbacks get knocked out. But I think that's gone away.
Yeah. So you guys gonna do me a favor and beat
Green
the
Bay?
Pack?
I hope
Beat Green Bay tomorrow?
I hope we beat them senseless.
Um.
There's I don't dislike Green Bay like you dislike Green Bay. There's just so being a Dolphin fan is tough enough, but like all of these people who even claim to be Dolphin fans who talk about all of these other quarterbacks that they'd rather have, like Jordan Love, and yeah, Jordan Love's not that great. Oh, with this one, no, he's not that great either. Like if Justin Herbert loses every single game the rest of the season, I'd be perfectly happy. Joe Burrow loses every single game, perfectly happy. Because I'm tired of hearing how much better they are. I'm like, we should have signed Herbert. Tua gets hurt all the time. Like Herbert's been hurt just as much as Tua's been hurt.
Well, and sign him. I mean, the Vikings tried to trade for him, and they were like, no. It wasn't like he was out there, like being able to be taken. They weren't trying to get rid of him, and they had no interest in getting rid of him. I mean, it's
and then Jordan one good half a season last year, second half of the season, and all of a sudden he gets a big contract extension, and Jordan Love, and he got hurt that game. I was like, good. But yeah, I want him to like pick him off like 4 times in that game.
I will never cheer for an injury. I never will.
No, I'd like to see him get picked off 4 times.
Yeah.
I'll sack him 8 times. That kid from the Patriots, that May kid,
Drake May, baby.
He's going to be really good.
As long as he can prevent himself from not getting, he's a runner, right? And no running quarterback has proven themselves to be very durable, except for one, and that's Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar just has this weird ability just to avoid the big hits, and he just
the thing that he has above Josh Allen is up to a point, but the kid's got an arm too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, and they're in our division, so I don't like that. But like when they drafted him, I have a friend who's big Patriots fan, and like on Sundays, literally like live streams the game over Facebook, making comments and whatnot. So as soon as they drafted him, I'm like, so how soon do we start hating him? Because he hated Mac Jones. Like he was happy when they got Mac Jones, and then hated him really quick. It's like I hate him already. And now he's been like, they're everyone but Keith May. He's the only guy he's trying on this team. But no, I watched that game. The kids got, he's got good skills. So we'll see. But yeah, Jordan.
He needs to get a little smarter. He does the hero ball thing a little bit too much.
Well, yeah, because his team's horrible. So he's trying to make something happen, or at least saying, "Hey, look what I could do. Let's make up a play where that this happens, or I can throw it down the field and someone's actually there."
Yeah. No, I mean, I it's weird, right? I mean, they went through having I mean, they went through having a shit team for a little while there. Just like yeah, the thing was, it was like the number of people that I actually heard, I couldn't tell if they were being sarcastic or not. It's like, oh, I know, Patriots are just horrible. It's tough being a fan. I was just like, shut up. Just like you don't ever
We have
get to talk.
God, we don't have a championship in Boston for 6 weeks. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah. And I have friends who were big like Red Sox fans and Patriots fans, and like my friend Paul, who did the podcast with me, is from up there. And like every time he's not one of those really bad ones. But every once in a while he'll say something, and I'll go, Paul, your pinstripes are showing.
Aha.
And he's like, oh, okay. Because he knows what I mean. Like, you dealt with years of fucking Yankee fans throwing it in your face, but now you're going to be just like them. Like, as Dolphin fans, we have a rule. We hate the Jets, and we hate Patriots fans. We don't actually hate the Patriots, even though they were so dominant for so long. We hate Patriots fans because they're obnoxious.
Yeah, no, I'll agree. They are obnoxious.
But you hate the Jets, even though the Jets haven't been good in years. Always hate the Jets.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is done playing?
I think he's done. I think he's done. I think the only thing that he's got left is the rest of the season. So I think, if anything, he's going to go and say, look, you can release me and trade me to one of these teams and let him make one final hurrah. And then he's done. So I think he realizes that his thing in Green Bay always was that no matter who was on the field, he made them better. Not happening anymore. He does not have that ability to make everybody. Like, look at a guy like Jordy Nelson. Did anyone think Jordy Nelson was going to be as freaking amazing as he was when he played? Like, no. He said, okay, this is what you do. All right, let's work with that. It's the same with Brady. I mean, we had Wes Welker in Miami, and he was our best receiver, and we lost him to them. But like Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, these guys were not friggin' great receivers. He just made them. He's like, okay, if you get there, I will have the ball there for you. But Rodgers doesn't have that anymore. And his whole thing last, with I'm going to bring in these guys because these guys, I know how they work and whatnot. Like, yeah, but they're all old and they're not as fast as they were. Their hands aren't as good as they used to be. Can't do it.
I think that there is a world where if like somebody was like saying he's like being considered for a cabinet position with Trump, which I find just, if maybe, who cares, whatever. But there exists a world where he would go to the Vikings just to complete the tour. Do the Favre. Like if Darnold leaves, if Darnold leaves because somebody offers him $1 gazillion, we won't pay it. We decide we don't like Daniel Jones. We need somebody to like just start the first 4 to 6 games of the year so JJ McCarthy can sit behind him, and then start JJ McCarthy, and then Aaron Rodgers like gets to like kind of coach him on the sideline and stuff like that. But the problem with that theory is that all personal issues that Brett Favre has had, like sending pictures of himself to newscasters, theoretically trying to steal millions of dollars from a charity, which he did pay back, admittedly. Uh, you know, this kind of like weird people actually liked Brett Favre before he turned out to be a turd. Um,
Well, I think people like Aaron Rodgers until he started just being everywhere and was allowed to just speak. Like you're in Minnesota and no one, no. But like I said, he would do the commercials, and the commercials were fun and whatnot. But then he just became like we have Aaron Rodgers on the show, and he's starting talking about conspiracies and stupid shit, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, you're a wackadoo.
and then when he had that weird slick back hair and just
The ponytail.
the weird, I mean, like the tiny like 2 inch ponytail, and the hair just take to his thing and just slick straight back. And he was going on Joe Rogan and sounded like a nutball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just
what I'm saying. It's like he was fine until people got to know Aaron Rodgers the person, not Aaron Rodgers the celebrity.
yeah,
His commercials were all enjoyable. He'd be on a talk show and just talking about football and stupid stuff, and enjoyable.
I remember when I saw him on he was on a football talk when he was still at the Packers. This is like, whatever, 3-4 years ago, whatever. And the Packers had just played Minnesota at Lambeau, and Minnesota had won. And they started talking about the Minnesota defense. And he went and he spoke for like a good 7-8 minutes talking about Harrison Smith, the safety for the Vikings, and just talking about why he's a Hall of Famer. And he said, and he's like, and he explained how, like, how as a safety, he said he has a mind. It's just like he has a mind for the game, right? As far as figuring out things and stuff like that. So it was kind of neat. Like, and then, like I said, and I know I've said this joke 1,000 times before, and I still, whenever it's like, when did It's like the tweet that said, when did Aaron Rodgers stop being uh a Hall of Fame worthy quarterback and become the guy selling snakes in a Kmart parking lot?
Yeah. So you made the comment about him being on the cabinet. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about the picks for the cabinet so far, and the person goes, it's almost had said, "Oh God, he's so stupid," and then the guy goes, "But what if he's so brilliant?" And everyone looked at him like, "What?" He goes, what if he knows that none of these crazy picks are going to actually make it through? And because all the people he's picked, the really crazy ones, are all people with money who gave him money for his campaign. And he'd go, well, I tried. Like, oh, you didn't get confirmed. Hey, I'm sorry. Sorry, Dr. Oz. I tried. And
I tried to make it happen.
I tried to make it happen, RFK. It's out of my hands. I can't control these things.
Yeah, I mean, don't complain to me.
Thanks
for your donation.
I would give you a cabinet position, but you know what? I nominated you. That I kept my word.
Yeah, not my fault.
Not my fault. I did my best. I offered a position to Stormy Daniels. She didn't get confirmed.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Man of my word.
Well, he's not, though.
No, I know. But my point is that's something he would do. Like, hey, all right, yeah, what did you give? Oh, $40,000 to $40 million to this pack for me? All right. You could be Secretary of Defense. You have no rhyme or reason. You're not going to get it, but I said I nominated you. Ah,
So you know what time of year it is that's my least favorite time of year?
daytime?
Ha. No. Uh Orders are starting to be delivered of last light to backers, and so my inbox explodes with people like saying,
I didn't get to see it.
I had to move and I know I missed the time, but is there something you can do to, you know,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
yeah, just
Yes, sir, I can.
yeah. Or
I can hope that you did a forwarding address with the mail services.
I, just or my other personal favorite, um I was counting my light crystals. I was supposed to get 60. I got 59. Could you please send me one?
I need a small blue and green planet.
Yes. Yeah. And let the record show, we will send those out. We will take care of those people. But we're like, well, we have a window where we're like, when your area gets delivered, you have 90 days. You have 90 days to open up your game and tell us I missed out on this. But after that, it's like no guarantees.
Yes,
None.
I backed this game in 2014. It was
Dude.
delivered in 2015, and I just opened it and realized
Dude, I mean, I get it.
these purple cubes don't match the other purple cubes.
I mean, let me just say, I get it because I have people that that happens all the time where it's like I myself, I'm in the process of cleaning out one of the closets that I know there's a bunch of games in, and I'm trying to dig them all out, and because I'm gonna either get rid of them or I'm gonna take them over to my storage unit, and I gotta I'm gonna try to get that done this weekend. But I I know I have like Kickstarters that I never opened up and I never looked at, and I'm like, oh, well, shoot. And I was like, but if I open it up and I'm like, oh, I'm missing this, I'm not going to contact the company from 5 years. Yeah, hey, missing my, whatever. No, I take it on the chin and just realize that, yeah, my window is gone and I need to just accept it
Yeah.
and move forward with my life.
I am proud of the fact that I have very few unopened games because usually when I get it, I open it, I check the stuff that's there, and then I'll organize it.
Yeah.
And then they never get played, but I'm like, okay, because I want to see. Oh, because once I opened a game and it had 4 decks of cards in it. It was more than 4 decks of cards, but it was 4 wrapped decks of cards. And I got half the cards because I had 2 decks that were exactly the same. So when they packaged it, something happened and someone grabbed the same 2 decks and put them in the box. And I'm like, okay, if I had, and I didn't play it for literally, I had to wait to get replacements, but I literally didn't play the game for over 2 years.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have noticed till then. I'm like, oh, what are the odds that, if the game it keeps getting made over and over and evergreen, then yeah, there'll be stuff. But I mean, I'm like, yeah, no, let me go open this up and check it. It's just me. I get rid of all the extra cardboard and the fluff and it's like, all right. And if I ever sell it, I'm like, unplayed but punched because that's what it is.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you, which is my go-to response to anybody who starts talking politics around me that I'm not wanting to argue with. Say, oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That must be tough.
No, I don't say that because that means I'm commiserating. I just say I hear you, meaning that my ears work. And I just recently had to use that for my son's Taekwondo teacher. He started going in about the government and how Minnesota and this, that, and the other thing, and how You know, it's like, why is my money being spent on free lunches? And I'm just like, I hear you. You just leave it at that. You just,
No, I've done the I hear you, and I'm like, hey, man, what are you gonna do?
yeah.
What are
Oh,
you
that's a
gonna do
good
is
one.
what are you gonna do is one of my favorites for everything. It's a good catch-all. And
Yeah,
the
because
weird
it
thing,
doesn't, it's non-committal.
yeah,
There's no agreement. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
the weird thing about what you're gonna do is, so one of my cousins,
Oh, could you also use it is what it is?
oh, yeah, yeah, you could, but one of my cousins used to like every time like someone in the family had passed away, and we like were at the wake. I said, God, it's a shame. And he always go, hey, what are you gonna do? And then a few years ago, he passed away. And I'm at his wake, and I go over to my other cousin, and I said to him, I said, if Anthony was here, what would he say? And he's like, what are you gonna do? Like that was like his like response, like that it, you know, it's horrible, whatever it is, it's a shame. But what are you gonna do? And nothing you can do could change it. It's what it is. But like I encounter a lot of people who are of the younger persuasion who get upset about things a lot worse than other people, like people of our age.
Yeah. People of a certain age.
And I'm like, "Ah, that must be really rough." And I'm like, you have no idea how bad it is. Like I'll never say, you know, but that's like my kind of like the you have no idea how rough your life is gonna be, or how rough life is when you things. It's like, yeah, that must be tough. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. You know, the
I'm
oh my god, I have to work. I have to work 27 hours this week. Must be rough.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Rough life.
I
60.
was just gonna say I got two guys without cameras on here. You know, you
Well,
got
I'm laying in bed. I don't feel like I want to be on camera.
fine,
It was an
whatever.
early night at the Alden party,
I'll give you a pass.
Thanksgiving party.
Did you what you have a little bit too much of your grandpa's cough medicine or something or what?
Yeah, it was the most I've drank in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, if you want anything non-alcoholic, you had to like really search for it.
Yeah.
It was
I hear Michelle in the background. Hi,
it was a
Michelle.
wine party. Yeah, Michelle's here.
Yeah, I heard her laughing at you.
Yep.
Laughing again.
Here's the sucky thing. I drank a bunch, no buzz. That's the sucky part.
You're just tired and old.
Nothing.
You just gotta try harder.
I gotta try harder next time.
Yeah.
Believe me, there will be a lot of wine. My brother-in-law, he's got this cellar, and I had Pappy Van Winkle last night. He had a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle. Have you heard-
Okay.
Do you know this whiskey? Or
I've heard the name before. What's the
go look at the price tag on that. He had
Oh,
the- he
Didn't
had
we
the
talk
12
about this on the show a few weeks ago?
Have we talked about Pappy Van Winkle before?
I think Shane talked about it once.
Yeah, go look at the bottle. Like a 12
$1,000 for a
No,
10-year.
it's more than that. It's like
Oh.
1,500.
Yeah.
Oh, I just looked at I can buy a 10-year Pappy Van Winkle for $989.
No, we had a 15 year.
Well,
He didn't have the 23 year, which is $5,000 a bottle.
He doesn't
I
like
mean-
you very much.
I'll just drink
He
Old
brought out
Tub.
I'm surprised he brought out the 15 year or 12 year or whatever it was. It was 12 years, I think.
You just drink Old Tub, man. It gets you to the same spot.
It does do the same thing. Believe me.
It gets you to the
I
same
drank
spot
that,
for
and
20
it didn't.
bucks.
It wasn't like earth shattering or anything. It was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're not really bourbon drinkers. Although, is that whiskey? I don't even know what the difference was. Whiskey, bourbon, same diff.
Hmm.
Anyway, tonight ended early. There was a party. We went. We came home early. Too many youngins.
Too many.
We played
youngins.
games. We played games today.
Oh, what'd you play?
We played. Michelle actually just journaled it. We played On Tour. Do you know On Tour?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tour. My dad did not get it. It was so. I'm like, Dad, you got to put two numbers down. They can only go on these three cards. You have to pick two. He did not. I mean, it was like it was a bit of a struggle. And then we did the scoring, and he's like, I didn't score anything. Okay, Dad. And then what else we play? We played Spicy Dice. Do you know Spicy Dice?
Not familiar.
Spicy Dice is an amazing Yahtzee variant. It's very good. Like it's the better Yahtzee. You roll dice trying to make numbers or runs or sets or whatever's, right? But there's like a couple twists, right? You only have 30 rolls total. Like when you've used all 30 of your rolls, you're done. And every roll beyond, if you use less than 30, you get bonus points for all those. So, and there's a couple cool rules like every die has a red face. So if you roll a red face, you can set it to any face you want. So it's like a wild. But it just adds another. It's just like there's so much more fun in it for some reason. It's only a couple rules differences really. You basically score your ones through sixes. You do runs, 1 through 6, straights or whatever, and then you do sets. Sets is any set of numbers that is not a single number, right? So four fives and a pair of sixes or something like that. That's a set. You can break it any way. You can have two twos, two threes, or two fours. That's a set, and you add up the points. Most points wins. If you get a six of a kind on a 4 through 6, that's 75 points. If you score it in the slot that it matches, or 50 points if you score it in a different slot. 1, 2s, or 3s, six of a kind, you score 50 points, or 25 if you score in another place. So it's just enough. There's enough sizzle in the game that it makes it super fun. And
It
not
sounds
not
interesting.
Nazi. Yeah, spicy dice. It's underrated, man. It's weird. Like it comes in a bag, and it's not a great production. Honestly, it's like kind of lame. But it's one of the best dice rolling games I played ever, and it always works. Because you cheer for everybody like they get their six of a kind, right? Um, what else did we play? We played No Thanks. You know that one?
Oh, no thanks is
No
amazing.
Thanks is great. My dad, I'm like, Dad, do you want that card? He goes, Yeah, I want it. I'm like, okay. And then I realized he was out of chips. He was kind of sly. He's like, Yeah, I'll take it. I'm like, okay. Why do you want that? Oh, I just do. I just want it. I got a plan. We played Flip 7. He won that. Michelle almost beat him though.
Same
Michelle.
problem as every single push your luck game.
No, wait, but I could have won actually if I had rolled it. If I had gotten to the times 2, I would have won.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't change the fact that like at the very end you just the choice between I'm going to stop or I'm going to go. You basically have to just go.
Yeah, but that's fun though, right?
I'm
I
not
feel like it's
saying it
fun.
isn't fun. I'm just saying it's like I wish there was something in. I'm still looking for my press your luck game where even if
Well,
like the person after you, like they're gonna win, I still want the ability to make choices instead of just yep, go, 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 gimme, 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 gimme.
I see. Yeah, sure.
I don't think just inherently I don't think it exists,
I
right?
got it. Yeah.
The only way I think it could exist is if you didn't know how close people were to winning and you just had to have an
Yeah, that
idea.
would be a different thing where everybody had to sort of decide when they wanted to stop and it wasn't shared.
Hmm.
Yeah. Me and Michelle played Castle Combo, which is a very fun game. If you've not played that yet, I highly recommend it. It's very good. It's by the people that make Far Away. It's like a
Well,
little drafting tableau builder. You build a 3 by 3 grid. Um, it's just a good one. Like, a lot of ways to score. You have characters that are so you have 2 sections of the board. You're either taking from the village or you're taking from the kingdom. The villagers are all commoners and the kingdom are all royalty, right? So you have like this kind of different kind of characters that do different types of scoring. But it's a lot of, it's just tableau scoring. Nothing special, but it's just a good tableau scorer. Um, what else did we play? I played half a game of Cities, which is pretty cool. I like what I saw. We didn't get through it, but it looks pretty cool. It's a Devere game, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on the designer's name.
for cities,
Yeah, Cities. Oh.
I mean, I'll look it up, but I mean,
Yeah, no, it's you know the names. Steve Finn and Um, I'm liking it.
Stephen and Phil Walker Harding.
That's it. It's pretty good. You it's pretty simple. It's another Tableau builder. You're building
I
a
was
three
gonna
by
say
three
it looks
grid.
very lightweight.
It's probably light medium. Yeah, you don't have a lot of choices on your turn. You basically draft. It's a drafting game. You're taking from like four different sections. You're taking from the buildings, the the map, bonus cards, or features, and then you're basically trying to get your best score from that combination. No, it's good. Even the half game I played, I was like, "Yep, this is good." What else did we play, Michelle? Anything? What do we not? What am I forgetting?
Phil Walker Harding
Encore. Yeah.
made one of my is he the guy that no, he didn't make I'm thinking he designed
Which name are you talking about?
Phil Walker Harding. He
Oh yeah,
designed
Sushi Go,
Sushi Go.
yeah, and he designed
Emotep,
Imhotep. That's the one.
Oh, Imhotep's amazing.
Baron Park.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great games. Bangers.
Yeah.
Do you like that word bangers?
I like that. I like it for music. We were busting that out before.
Okay.
Yeah, like for I always confuse Imhotep with
I've
shoot,
not played
what's
Imhotep in a while. It's really good though.
shoot. Imhotep with it was another Egypt themed game. Um
Raha?
no, and it was like kind of like the successor to Court the King or whatever.
Oh yeah, in the favor of the emperor or favor of the pharaoh.
Favor the Pharaoh. There you go.
Yeah, that's a dice worker placement or dice builder. You're basically building up your dice.
Yeah, I remember playing that.
Yeah, I like that game.
I remember we played that at BGG Con like when it came out like 10 years ago, and I
I
remember
know
you
that
just
was a while
crushed
ago.
me. You just crushed me.
Yeah.
Took
Yeah.
took me to town.
Well, it's a
Uh
dice rolling game.
um yeah, but I always get those two mixed up. Favor of the Pharaoh. I haven't played that in forever either.
What else did we
Oh,
play? We played something on the other night. What was the one that we played night before?
couldn't tell you.
It was a big group.
What's the picture of it? The thing with the pictures. Secret identity.
Secret Identity. That's a really good game. Have you heard of this one? So you deal out roles like or just characters, right? There's like 8 characters in the game. For an 8-player game, you deal out 8 characters. Everybody gets dealt a secret identity, like that's your character. And then you
Mhm.
use these little picto cards that are like they're double-sided quad card, like 2 pictures on each side, like dominoes. And you're playing pictures to identify who you are. And you only get 10 cards for the whole game. And it's pretty cool. So you have to really be creative with your pictures of what you're using, right? Like I had Daisy Duck as one of my characters. I just put a chicken out. However, everybody thought it was Hillary Clinton. Or no, it was an eagle. It was an eagle, not a chicken. It was an eagle head. And so everybody thought it was Hillary Clinton. So I got half correct and half, people guess what you have to guess who people are. And I got, half Hillary Clinton and half Daisy Duck. And then I got Rose from Titanic, which I felt like I killed it with that. I put a little wine glass and a like dancing couple, or it looked like people making out. And Jack, I also got Jack from Titanic. Jack, what's his name? Jack Dawson. I put an ice cube,
And a
April
door.
Wine, and a suit. That was, I think I felt I nailed it. I still didn't, not, I didn't everybody get it, but I thought it was pretty good. I was pretty happy with myself with that one. Secret Identity is really good. There's a little bit of a flaw with the game. Like you have to put these keys into slots and it should be backwards the way it is. Because you want to put the keys in face down so nobody sees the numbers, right? But you're supposed to put them face up because when you flip the board over, right, there's like a little flap you flip up, the keys are revealed to show who matched what. It should be inverted. Anyway, minor issue, but it's a good game. I've not. I've had a lot of fun with that one. That's an R&R game, by the way. I'm not sure who the designer is, but it was pretty fun.
You know,
What else? I think that was it. We played a bunch of games. You guys ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow?
I'm actually cooking. That's why I'm not on camera.
Are you cooking? What are you making?
So far we've made two kinds of stuffing. Well,
Oh,
three
what kind of
kinds,
stuffing do you do?
technically. So my wife makes like cornbread stuffing,
Yep.
but she'll make
I waited for you to say, stovetop.
no, she makes like this cornbread stuffing, but she like puts like dried cranberries and chestnuts and stuff in it. I don't like any of that stuff, so she makes some without all that in it. And then I make my mother's stuffing, which is very different than traditional stuffing. So it's rice and ground beef.
I was
And
about to say I love beef stuffing.
so you take
Right.
like a dry sausage and then you dice it up and
Oh wow.
you fry that in the pan a little bit. And then it's got artichoke hearts and peas and some mozzarella. And then my mother cooks it in the turkey, but we don't cook anything in the turkey. So then I just make some turkey stock, pour it over it, and then throw it in the oven. So it all cooks together.
Nice.
And then sweet potatoes, which I don't eat, but my kids love. So
Oh,
I'm not a sweet potato guy
know,
either.
I didn't even know you had kids.
me, I got 6 of them.
What? I had no idea.
I got 4 of
You
my own.
never mentioned them.
I got 4 of my own,
Oh my
and
god.
then 2 stepkids.
Wow. How is that
Yeah,
crazy? I never knew.
My oldest is 30, and my youngest is 17.
Okay. Cool.
But and they're all going to be here tomorrow. So I
Oh.
made that. I made mac and cheese, not from a box.
Ah,
And then I'm just trying to figure out what else I need to.
Do you cook a turkey?
Yeah.
How many pounds?
So we got like a 14-pound turkey this year.
Okay.
I also bought a
That's
ham.
like is that like a 2-hour cook?
So 14-pound turkey, the way I cook it is like just over 2 hours.
you put it
My-
in the oven?
My sister got a 22-pound turkey.
Good heavens.
I'm like, that's gonna take 6 hours.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my mother would get like a 24-pound turkey.
4 hours. 4 hours. Sorry.
Would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to stuff it and start cooking it, so we could eat like around 3 o'clock.
Do you watch football?
Yeah.
So wait. Well, how do you cook yours if you're all
So I use the Alton Brown Good Eats turkey method.
What's that?
So basically, you brine it at least 24 hours ahead of time.
Like a cooler or something?
It gets brined in like a mixture of vegetable stock and kosher salt and all different kinds of spices and whatnot.
Okay.
So it sits in right now. The turkey's brining. My wife did her brine, but so the next day you take it out, you pat it dry. So it's the outside's completely dry. You take some canola oil, you rub the whole bird, you throw it in a 500-degree oven for half an hour.
Okay.
And then what you have to do is you have to make like a breastplate with aluminum foil to cover the breast of the turkey.
Okay.
You cover it and you put it in there and you just let it go till it hits the temperature, which is usually for that size bird like an hour and 45 minutes. And it's super moist. Like my turkey, to me, is always dry because the breast takes less time to cook than the dark meat. So you get nice and tender dark meat and your breast is all dried out. This thing is like amazing. And I don't even like turkey. Like I make it once a year.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's super. It's takes some time and whatnot to do, like between the prep and whatnot. But like literally, after that first half hour, you lower the temperature, you cover the thing up, you put it in there, you stick a thermometer in, like the remote thermometer thing, and just leave it alone. And when it beeps that it's done, you take it out, you put like a bowl over to cover it in foil, and let it rest for like 15, 20 minutes. and it's the super moist white meat, and dark meat is perfect.
Nice.
So then, like, instead of we don't stuff it because stuffing makes everything take longer. So like in the cavity of the bird, you put like cinnamon stick and an apple and an onion and like thyme and rosemary and sage.
Aromatics.
Yeah, and that just basically you know
Hmm.
gives the bird some more
I've
flavor.
never cooked a turkey myself. I've
Yeah.
never been responsible for cooking.
So this year
Always,
we're making a ham
always.
too.
What's up?
We're making a ham also.
Oh, a ham, like a honey baked ham or something, or
Like, yeah, I don't like the ones you buy. Like spiral ham, I can't stand. So
okay,
I just buy like a whole like a spiral ham before they cut it.
okay, like the
That
hot.
yeah,
Okay,
poke a few holes in it, throw some cloves in it. I usually do it with pineapple juice, but my daughter's allergic to pineapple, so I can't do pineapple. So I'm doing like apple juice and brown sugar. And yeah.
nice. Sounds good. Do you do potatoes or anything?
So my wife does mashed potatoes.
Okay,
So she'll make those tomorrow. And then we had do like string beans almondine, and I said I made mac and cheese.
nice.
We got four
Sounds
kinds
good. You got
four
a big
kinds of pie,
crew.
dessert.
6 people, 8 people. What kind of pie?
So we got apple crumb,
Yep.
pumpkin,
Yep.
sweet potato,
Okay.
and then
My,
we get
I'm coming over to your place.
my kids love the Mrs. Collander's Marie Collander's chocolate silk pie.
Oh yeah, those are
Oh,
good.
yeah,
Those are
those
really
are
good.
good.
Yeah,
So
that's a good call.
yeah. So
I'm kind of a purist with pie. I get pumpkin only. I like pumpkin.
yeah, I like
Michelle likes cherry.
Yeah,
I like cherry
I
pie.
also like pumpkin too.
With pumpkin, like I really like sweet potato pie. Like I don't like sweet
I don't
potatoes.
think I've
I
ever
love
had a
sweet
good
potato
sweet
pie.
potato. I don't think I've ever had one.
And then like if we were having people over, I would probably make either a pumpkin cheesecake or a sweet potato cheesecake.
If you had people,
Yeah, like besides the
more
kids.
people.
Like if
Okay.
if my in-laws were coming or whatnot, I usually make something else. Well, it's different because my kids are varying degrees of picky when it comes to food. So
Kids, what do they know?
yeah.
Yes. What do they want? So what about you, Lance? What do you cook?
I won't cook anything because I'm going to my brother-in-law's.
Oh, what does he cook?
Turkey and a bunch of other stuff. I'll cook our own like on Saturday. I just same deal. I mean the standards: potatoes, turkey, green bean casserole, mac and cheese. We don't do anything. I don't do anything too
Mac and cheese.
out
That's
there.
not traditional, right? Like that's kind of an add-on, I
For
think.
Norwegians, it is.
Oh,
With
I
mac
mean,
and cheese,
yep.
yeah, it's a very northern Europe and southern America thing.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I mean
my,
it's
my sister, my stepsister on my dad from my stepfather's side cooked this amazing meat stuffing that I just couldn't get enough of when she was making it. And I have not seen her since my stepfather died. So it's like, sort of missed that over the years.
my dad's a big stuffing guy too. Like he
I
says,
love
I
her
he
stuffing.
could just eat. He said I'll just forget everything else. I'll just eat all the stuffing
Me
myself.
stuffing.
Yeah, just
Yeah, stuffing's amazing.
it can be and it can be crud too.
Yeah, true.
I mean
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
weird. Yeah, I have to get it. It has to be the right one, right?
Yep.
So I was gonna say, Aldi, you need to go back. Love Conquers All on Kickstarter.
Love conquers all.
Jeff Sidek,
Oh yeah,
Guerrilla
that's
Games. $25 for a copy,
sure.
and it's super good. I'd show you my copy, but I had to send my prototype back to him.
Oh, by the way, I played Dragon's Down last weekend.
That's a lot.
I friggin' love it.
It's great, but it's a
I don't
lot.
think, but I don't think that's for everybody.
No, it absolutely is not.
I love it. I always wanted to play Magic Realm, never could, never did.
No,
but I feel like I've almost played it now with playing.
but yeah, and Dragon's Down is a very rules friendly version of
Yeah,
Magic
but it
Realm.
still has a lot of rules. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
not easy, but it is definitely more.
Oh, when I did my
More
video
easy.
for that thing, I basically Scott Demers, the designer,
Yep.
we played it on Tabletop Simulator, and how do I put this without being mean? There is an art to teaching a game,
Yeah,
and some people know it, and some people don't. And Scott doesn't.
the ones I watched where he taught it, it was fine. But I could see it's not like super easy to learn that game.
No, and
Watch like
it's like, and it was one
four
of
or
those
five
things
videos of
too.
people. I even watched your video. I
Well,
even watched.
thanks.
It
He even watched my video. You
I did.
slummed. Appreciate
That
it.
was slumming.
No, so and that, you know, and to in his defense, um designers in general are horrible at teaching their games.
Yeah.
Kevin's good at teaching his game.
No, he isn't. No, he is not.
So there are some
But
rules
I will say
in
this,
that
you know
rule
who
book
is
for sure.
Ryan Mock, the other designer of After the Empire. He is very good at teaching After the Empire. Um, no, and so when I was doing my video for Dragons Down, I basically had Scott on like quick dial constantly.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to make sure I'm doing this right with this situation here with this particular token, turning over this particular card, you know, and it was rough. That was a I mean, I'll put it this way as well. If that wasn't Scott, somebody who I consider to be a very, very good friend. I mean, he's somebody that I probably talk to him like once every month or two, and we don't live anywhere near, but just to talk. If somebody I didn't know like that contacted me and said, "Hey, we do this video," no, or just be like, you know, I mean, I'll pay you $5,000. No, just no and no and no and no, because I just can't. Because yeah, I mean, it's such a rules heavy
It,
plotting.
so my opinion of the rule book, it's fine, but it definitely needs another layer. It needs another pass.
It needs a
Needed something.
really, really good. Let's set up the game and play around and just follow along with exactly
Yeah,
what we're doing.
it needs like a guided play. But I mean so here's the thing, I watch a lot of videos and I read the rule book and I was still trying to find rules in that when we were playing it. So it definitely needed a little polish. But I think the game is really, really cool.
Yeah,
Like
it
it is
is.
really cool.
It is something that is unlike anything else that's out
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So wait, now I have to ask a question.
Yep.
Aldi,
Yep.
have you ever played a prototype with Lance on?
Yeah, we played on BGA a couple times. Games he was developing.
Okay. How was his teach then?
It was fine.
Okay.
But
Where are you
Lance is
going
a
with
good
this?
teacher. I think Lance is a good teacher.
Where are
So
you going with this, Anthony?
I've watched a lot of his
let me tell
videos, and
so
he has a casual way of teaching. It's fine.
I think Lance just knows that I know what he's talking about. It's like, yes, you can go over here, you can take some of these things and you can spend those later. But then
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here you can do.
There's a little bit of filling in the blanks, but I get Lance, so I'm okay with Lance.
Yeah. He's like, okay, you'll get it. Don't worry. And I mean, yeah.
I feel like I I don't care that much about rules these days to go. I don't have to know every single thing.
Yes, no, I
I'm
know
just
that,
like
but
I'll
it's
just
more
go
of
with it.
this is what these things kind of do over here, and as you do it, you'll figure it out how it actually works.
Right.
And I'm like,
I'm
oh,
like
okay. And then like 2 turns, I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand. But
I've
like,
definitely
if someone's
eased up my caring of rules these
if
days.
somebody else went and did that, they'd be like, what are we talking about? What am I doing?
Where are we going with this?
What
Now,
are you doing? What are you doing?
Mike in my group has to know everything.
Yeah,
He
no,
needs to know everything.
those things I can't stand.
Yeah.
Well, I've talked about
I
this
love
before.
Mike, but I'm like he always finds the edge cases, right? He's a developer, he's a designer, he knows this thing, so he always pokes the edges of these games, and they sometimes they're fragile.
I said this before, and it drives me absolutely bonkers. But my friend Craig, who will, it's like when you're trying to when I'm teaching a game, and I'm like, okay, and then over here, this location, so you will process this change, and it'll change these, and then you'll get the exact same number back, but then you'll also, as compensation, you'll get these two black cubes. What are the black cubes for?
Yeah.
Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
it'll all make
Where they,
sense.
yeah, there's people that always come up with that question that like it's not in the rules directly, but there's an answer. You just have to dig for it, and
Yeah.
that throws me off the game.
I
I
think
have to go answer that question.
I think the key to teaching a game and why some people are not good at it, even if they've made the game, is there's a flow
Yeah.
of teaching something. So you cut down on as many of those. But what happens here? What are
Or
the
those little exceptions.
things?
Yeah.
Like some people are like, oh, okay, so over here you do this, and then the thing it relates to, they skip over, they go to something else. Now over here because it's next to it. I'm like, no, I don't want to know there. Go to the next spot in the process.
Yeah. Yeah, it throws you off a little bit. Anyway, it's here we played um like four or 5 hours of Dragon's Down, and I thought it was great. Then we played Bomb Busters, and I've talked about Bomb Busters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "We should have been playing this all day instead of that dumb Dragon's Down." I'm like, "What? I love that Dragon's Down." Here's the thing: I kind of scared them in the combat. Like I scared them about the combat, so I was like, "You got to sneak all the time. Like you really do have to sneak a lot in that game, or you're dead." And we sort of got lucky. We did not have any when we weren't sneaking. We were not attacked. Only a couple times did we have to try to like get into a real combat. And so maybe I jaded the game a little bit, or I swayed the game. He's like, "Is this fun?" I'm like, "I think so, but I guess I could see why you don't think it's fun because you're not a monster killer in that game. You're just trying to survive. And you want to fight a combat when you know it. You know the outcome. You don't try to get into random combats and just have it's one of those games that you're not just like hacking and slashing. You have to really know what you're getting into. It's more like
You have to weigh the odds
lit-
in your favor going in.
you can here's the thing, you can make it 100% sure that you're going to win the combat unless their tactics change. Michelle is watching a show.
Oh, well, she's allowed to.
I know.
Jeez.
Just need to just
Volume down,
roll it down a little bit.
whatever.
There we go.
Um,
Anyway, but Bomb Busters is pretty great.
oh, look,
Okay.
somebody who has a camera. Hey, Matt.
Hey,
Is
Matt.
that why it's just you on there?
Well, no, because both Anthony and Scott are on, but
I'm in bed.
but they're both naked, so they can't have their cameras on.
I'm
let me
cooking
join
with
the
grease.
party. Let me disrobe and I'll be choice.
Ah. Well, Canadians
How are
don't
you
even
spending
celebrate
their-
Thanksgiving, so what are you doing here?
We do, but it's just literally one meal. It's not a fucking week.
Oh,
It's
it
only
was like a
one,
month ago,
two.
right?
What's that, Scott?
It's only one day here too.
Yeah.
And I've shared this story before, but I had a buddy. He's still a buddy of mine. I don't see him as often, but I used to work with him. He was my roommate at one point too. But there was not that I mean, you shouldn't tell tales out of school, but he
Yeah.
was involved with a married woman who was like planning on leaving her husband, and then she'd come over to our apartment a lot, and and she was nice enough. And then at one point, she just came over, and I remember she came over, and I was like, "Oh, hey," and she was like, and then like my roommate was there, and I'm not gonna say his name or anything, and she's like, "Hey," and he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" She's like, I just thought I'd let you know that I'm going back with my husband. So, and we're moving to Nebraska tomorrow. So, goodbye. And then she just walked out and left, and we were like, well, that was weird. It was like, I mean, and like they'd been involved for a couple of months. I mean, it still wasn't like, they were desperately in love or nothing, but she just came over. And I haven't asked him, but for years later, for no reason other than just for her to be weird, she would text him and she'd say Happy Canadian Thanksgiving on Canadian Thanksgiving. And that's all she'd say.
All he texted. But he
That's all
wasn't
she would text.
Canadian.
You know, she wasn't Canadian. She didn't live
And he
in
wasn't
Canada.
Canadian.
He wasn't Canadian. Just Happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh,
And then
weird.
his name, right? You know, and it was just like, and then I don't know if
That's
he,
a psycho.
I don't know if he still gets the text or not, but every year for several years afterwards, he would get that one text. He's like, yeah, so and so texting you again. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Yep, Happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm just thankful that you guys embrace your holidays with such vigor because
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's family, it's food, and it's football.
well,
Three F's, baby.
not so both it's
Lions,
a couple times a
baby.
year.
Dallas, baby.
It's a couple of times a year that I get to kind of the the pressure kind of releases a little bit because y'all take like a week off or a half a week off and I get to actually get a lot of work done during that time.
Yeah.
4th of July and Thanksgiving. It's great.
It's kind of like our mini Chinese New Year, right? You know, it's just like and what's crazy is like the kids don't have to go to school Wednesday through Sunday, so like the school is just they put everybody puts the school goes into cruise control this week. Most people that are at work, they usually like end up they take Friday off, they take Wednesday off, so they have a long week as well. And that Monday and Tuesday, everybody's just like, let's just, we'll punt the meetings till next week, So it's just like it's a total cruise control week usually. It's kind of nuts. It's
yeah,
weird. No, I mean,
Yeah, it is
but-
weird. It is strange that
It's nice.
a couple of times a year, like everything just shuts down.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
The week
Yeah.
between Christmas and New Year's is also kind of a bad, time where everything's nothing.
Yeah, that's the one week of the year I get to play a video game.
My wife sent me, she saw this thing, local, I had no idea. So I like tamales. I don't know if you guys like tamales, but I really like tamales.
I do.
And I'm the only person in my family who likes tamales. And like, so occasionally I'll find a hookup, like where, and to make a really good tamale,
Ballots, man.
That's
it's
not
tough.
a northern thing, right?
What? I mean, I don't know. My buddy Brad, his mother-in-law makes fantastic tamales, but like she only makes them like once a year.
I don't think I've had a
And-
good tamale then.
Oh, really?
'Cause
Oh,
The ones I've had have been dry.
no. Well, then they're not being made well.
You got the wrong tamale.
Or they're being prepared poorly because you're supposed to steam them. So if they aren't being steamed, if somebody's throwing them in a microwave and heating them up for you, then that's garbage.
I've only had them twice. Once of them was from a microwave, and the other one was in actually Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I went with Seppi and
No,
Jeff.
you need to steam them because then like the dough and everything gets like
Masa.
everything. Yeah. It's super
Gotta
good.
have it
Not
in
dope.
Texas. Right?
Dude,
But anyway.
there's a place here in Dallas that does a sweet corn tamale.
Oh.
But every time it's
Oh,
so good.
That's a
And
different.
why have you never taken me
different
there,
kind, but-
Scott?
What?
Why have you never taken me there,
He was
Scott?
unaware of
There's
your
so many other
tamale.
great places to go to. You always want to go to Chewy's.
Well, Chewy's is amazing. Anyway.
No, well,
Yeah.
you got to come up. with more than
Oh, and
one-
Mr. Popular, I gotta go to have dinner with other people, So anyway,
come here off season, and we'll be able to do something else.
I'll have to hit a BGG spring or something.
You should.
I should. Anyway, my whole point in this, what I was trying to get to was, that, that's actually a pretty good idea. Like if I did a BGG spring, like if we didn't have a booth and I just went down there, maybe drag
But
my
it's-
kid along.
It's Memorial Day weekend. You got.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's
Can
conflicting.
can I introduce people to the newest member, one of the newest members of our family?
Is it your wife's boyfriend?
This is Cheese.
Hey, cheese.
And his brother Mac is around here somewhere too.
Mm,
mac and
the
cheese.
names work together.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
What's weird is cats actually like squeeze cheese. Have you ever noticed? Like if you have one of those cans and you spray it out, cats will eat it. They love it. You know.
Mac is certainly the adventurous one. Giselle sent me a photo today of him in the bathroom balancing on the top edge of the bathroom door. And I'm
Nice.
not sure how he actually got up there.
Well, your cat looks amazing. So,
Yeah, he's
uh,
a cutie.
thanks for giving a cat a home. A nice
Yeah.
place. What was I getting at? I don't know what I was getting at anymore.
I digress.
We were
BGG
talking
Spring.
BG Spring. I was talking about something else.
I mean,
before
you
that.
can
No,
go
I
to
mean
the
maybe I could.
Tamales.
I mean, you basically
Tamales. Tamales.
Tamales.
My wife found a lady that like runs like an independent kitchen catering thing, and she said Thanksgiving tamales. Put your order in, and I went over on Tuesday. I dropped my kid off at Taekwondo, and I went over to this like little kitchen like that she had set up, and I walked in and I got my bag of tamales, and they're amazing. I got a dozen, and I ate two already today, and all I can think about is eating the other 10. But I gotta ration them for a while because
You
she
freeze
makes them. Well, no, yeah, you freeze them, but she makes them for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and she said if you really want some, you can email me, but you got to give me at least 3 or 4 days. And she was a very nice lady, and they're amazing.
What's the protein?
Chicken.
Chicken.
She has veggie ones. She has pork ones, and she has chicken. I went with chicken. I might get pork next. See what that's like.
What's the seasoning inside? Like a red sauce?
Yeah,
Or...
it's like a red sauce, and I was like, well, what's the seasoning? She's like, well, it's my family recipe. I can't tell you what it is, but it's like, yeah, but
Or we have to kill you.
yeah, we'll have to murder you or whatever.
So I have a question.
Mm.
Are you guys going to see Wicked?
I think so. I think my wife and I are gonna go check it out.
Okay. I kind of
I'm
want
gonna
to.
wait till it goes on streaming.
You're gonna
Yeah,
wait to
You
stream.
go see it with me.
Yeah, Michelle and I are gonna go see it
Mhm.
probably next week or this
Yeah.
weekend.
Did
Oh,
you
it's
guys
coming.
see the show? Have you seen
I've seen the
show?
show. I've seen the show.
I
Yeah.
have. I don't know the songs at all, so I mean,
I'm
don't
excited to
have
see
to.
the movie because there's only so much they can do in the show, right? Because it's
Well,
Yeah.
you have to defy gravity. I mean, come on.
in my Bar None
see that
show,
song I do know actually. That
You know
song
that
I do
everybody
know.
knows.
we
that
did
song.
like 3 of these songs in Bar None, right?
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did like Defying Gravity and Popular and For Good.
Popular is a good song.
All of those songs we did.
Yep.
No.
No,
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did have homework that everybody had to say, like somebody, and they can't say anybody that's on the boom or anything like
I
that.
got mine.
Of like a person within the industry that they're thankful for, because it is Thanksgiving, and so we should say
Oh,
something
I didn't
that
know it
we're.
was homework.
Nobody.
Yeah, well, I posted it in the I posted it in the the Facebook group.
Well, you said I can't see anybody who's part of the show, so
Kabuki Kid said Alaboom needs more women on. Kabuki, the door's open. Anytime you
door's
want to be
open.
on. Yeah, door's open. Anytime. Anytime you like. Anyway.
I told Benita she should come on here.
Yeah.
You know Benita?
Yeah.
Yep.
I need I'll extend the invitation again.
Yeah, no.
As Cadelia would be
Well,
good.
I mean, like, and then my I can't think of her name right now, of course, but my friend who, like, her mom was friends with my brother, and and she was the one who worked in theater. Why can't I think of her name right now? And she came on a lot during COVID.
Oh yeah,
like
your cousin.
yeah. And then
What's her name?
I can't for the life of me remember the name right
You
now.
can't remember your cousin's name.
And then I mean there's been a few. Anyway,
Been a few years.
Candace. There you go.
Her name
Somebody
was
else. Yeah. No, okay, so I was gonna say I actually have two. There's gonna be two that I am and basically because these two people in their own ways, like at one point, like when I was first doing my videos and doing my things, they were like people that like I respected because I thought they were really cool.
I'm out.
Ha. No, you can't be sending the boom, man. You can't. No, and they basically, because they told me that they thought what I was doing was cool and they thought it was nice. Uh they made me feel like, oh, well, okay, I'm not just, you know, full my own shit. And the first one is Todd Rowland, originally with AEG, and I don't know what he's doing now. I know because
He is
he's
with.
He's
Oh,
not
I
there
knew.
anymore.
Yeah, he just contacted me the other day, actually.
what?
He's
Todd,
Who?
gonna be at PAX next week with the new company he's working for. Pink
What's the new?
Flamingo?
What's the new company?
Is it
he
Pink
is with.
Flamingo?
Uh,
Pink
Hold on.
Flamingo.
I know he got scolded in the PAX Unplugged thread on the on one of the Facebook groups.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
What for?
but I just remember Todd when I was just writing reviews and posting them. He
level
reached out.
99 games he's with, I think.
Nice. He just reached out of the blue and he said, hey, it's like I really like what you do, and can I have your address? I want to send you a big box of AEG games. No pressure, review what you can. And he was the very first person to ever reach out to me and say, I want you to review my stuff. And that made me feel like, oh, like somebody's like noticing what I'm doing and they're liking it, and it kind of legitimized me. And the other person, and so I was on a actually I hosted a panel at some convention, and I got to tell him that in person in front of a bunch of people because Todd was on the panel. And I said, hey, I want to take a moment, and just tell you that my personal story about Todd. And I let everybody know that I thought he was awesome. So and so I appreciated the chance that I got to do that. I was also one of the very he had me play Love Letter before they ever came out with it. And he asked me, he's like, hey, I want to show you something. I want you to let me know if you think this game's worth anything. And I remember he had this Japanese version of the game, and they had all these um uh uh post ups on everything. They covered the Japanese writing and put it in English so I could see it. So that was kind of cool too, that he actually asked me that. But the other one was is well, I mean, and everybody knows who he is. But at the time, nobody knew who he was. Kind of that's Stephen Bonacore. Because that was when he just first published Survive. That because Stronghold Games was like the idea behind Stronghold at the very beginning was, I'm going to publish out of print games that I think are awesome, that I want people to know exist. And then so I remember he had reached out to me and asked me if I'd be willing to do a review of Survive, and that was when I was doing videos, and he uh and I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And so he sent me, and then I had to send it, I think, to Joel Eddy afterwards. And then after that, we started exchanging emails back and forth about a lot of stuff. And then I remember I did some other like remember he did that crazy the crazy video of the what's the with the big giant, like it was like some like it was like a chess variant game, but it was all about spies and the like
Yes.
secret thing. Why can't I
what
remember
was
the
it
name of
called?
that game?
Confusion.
But it was like an
Confusion.
older game.
Confusion.
Confusion. There you go. It was an older game, right? I mean
It was.
that like that,
It's
but
hard to find.
he loved it as
Code
as
777 was the other one.
yeah,
He-
both of those. I remember thinking those were like fantastic games, and he was just kind of like, yeah, these are games that he had played when he was like younger, and he thought they were really cool, and then he wanted to redo it. But anyway, like I remember we had never met. I had exchanged a ton of emails back and forth with him, and confusion, espionage, and deception in the Cold War, one of the like longest, most
Right, you made a
like,
move, and then you moved
yeah.
their piece. You have the other person's pieces, right? And
Yeah,
then
it
tell me
was
if it was legal or not.
yeah, it was like a
Yeah, because
super
you could see how they move on the side that faces you of the player piece.
Yeah, you saw what your pieces moved like.
Yeah, it was my 76th video review. I'm
Or
looking
was
at
it
this.
vice versa?
No,
Remember?
you could see the other players.
Right. And you would move
You
one of your
move them
pieces,
based
and then you would
on
tell them
what
if it was
their
legal or not.
movement was.
Yeah.
And they had to figure out which piece was which because of the way you moved them.
Yeah. I never played it. I
I have a
wanted to.
copy of it somewhere.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. I have the original, but I never.
My favorite game from the early Stronghold group of games is Beluspa.
Oh, that's a good game. I like that game.
Was
Yeah.
that Stronghold?
Yeah. Well, they that was one of the first games that they brought from Green Goblin, from not
And you
Green.
know, Scott
Uh,
Caputo was at BGG Con.
Oh man, it's an old
he
Vimeo review I did of this. It's on Vimeo. Oh
Which
my
one?
gosh, look at that young bastard.
Share your screen.
My hold on, I'll share it. Man, this is 2011.
It's like a million years ago.
My yeah, it's like $1 an hour. That's before. Yeah, look at this young guy.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Just,
I love that camera angle. You're just like
yeah.
right there. I'm
More-
right there. Blank bang.
Moorhead, Minnesota man. There's a rest.
Hey, and notice you can just see the beginnings of the gray hair on my temples.
Where? Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see the beginnings.
Yep.
Not the years, the mileage. But anyway, so no, anyway, so but then I was standing around and then Tom said, "Hey, do you want to come to the Dice Tower dinner?" And that was like a thing that like they used to do where they would like invite a bunch of people and they didn't pay for you or anything like that, but you just got to go and it was a bunch of people that were industry related and things like that. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go. What the heck, you know?" And this is before I worked for TMG or anything like that. And then we went to some I don't even know what it was. It was like it was Italian restaurant. I have no idea where it is or if it even exists anymore.
Was this
But
Great
we went
Spaghetti
there.
Factory at Gen Con?
I have no idea. Maybe. I don't know. So uh so we went and I sat down at a table and then this guy sits down next to me and I was just and then he and I was like and then he goes he's like, "Hey Lance, nice to actually meet you." And he's like and I was like, "Hey," and he's like introduced himself as Steven. And then we sat there and it was like nobody else at the table existed. We sat there and talked about games throughout our entire meal. He told me about his life and what he does and all these things that he did and everything like that. And then like everybody else was getting up and leaving, and we ended up like sitting there for like uh um an extra nice Lord Javi. Lord Javi. My wife walked by and asked if I was watching Dateline when Lance's mugshot was on TV.
The date
No.
mugshot.
No, so and then like yeah, we ended up like being there after everybody else left and we were just talking about games and life
Who was
and
this?
whatever. Bonacor.
Oh, Bonacor.
And it was one of those things where and then he might have been just kissing my ass, who knows? But I mean he said a lot of really, really kind and nice things to me. And it's one of those things where you have somebody who's like that what's the word I'm looking for here is who's that enthusiastic about you and talking you up and makes you feel like maybe you're not a complete hack and you can beat up what I was experiencing back then and what now would be called imposter syndrome or whatever, like when you sit there and don't think that what you're doing is any good.
Hey Lance,
What's up, buddy?
are you selling Divinity at PAX?
Well, I'm not, but Larian Studios is.
I am.
Are you selling it at your booth?
No, the Larian booth, which is right next to ours, is
Okay.
going to have it. That's where Anthony's going to be.
I'm just making my because I'm not going to be there. I'm making my hey, go to this booth and buy the stuff that we worked on, images.
So anyway, that's my two, and I know I only said one, but
You know, that's
and-
funny that you said Todd because Todd gave me my first job in tabletop industry.
You know what's funny is he said you were a piece of shit when I met him.
You just can't, can you? You
Actually,
just can't.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't say anything. It's like we had more. Oh no, he left. Oh,
Todd gave me my first job in tabletop.
I hope Matt comes back. I'm sorry, Matt.
I'm here. I'm just
Oh,
I'm protesting.
oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No, he didn't say anything negative about you. I don't think. Yeah, it was anything like that. But no. Anywho, so that's mine. And whoever wants to go next can do. And we'll even let the Canadian guy.
I'll go next.
Say one.
So, back in 2016, I was working at our central bank's museum, and as a graphic and exhibit designer, and this guy that I worked with, he was one of the guides in the museum, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna have a bunch of people over this weekend to play board games." I'm like, "Board games? Gosh, I haven't played a board game. I think the last board game I played at that point was Talisman when I was like 15 years old. I mean, I'm sure I'd played other ones, but the ones I remember was like that, like the hobby kind of games." I'm like, no, I'm fine, thanks. And then a week or two later, he's like, "We're doing it again if you want to come over." So I did, and 10 hours of gaming that Saturday. I was like, I was hooked again in board games. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. And at that point, I was doing freelance on the side a bunch, and it was all I had worked a bunch for this as a server for this restaurant, this burger chain. So I was doing their 10 cards and stuff like that. And I think, you know what? I'm liking this board game stuff. I've already made a couple of, player aids for myself, and my friends are all like, "These are really cool. You should like maybe do this." So I and at that point I had done a couple of actual games for the museum too. So I put it together an email. I sent it to like 50 different people, publishers. And a few weeks later, I was at a typography conference in Denver. And I get an email from Todd Rowland saying, "Hey, we're working on this new game. It's called Grove Tenders. And we're wondering if you could do the card backs." And I said, "Sure, that's amazing." And I remember taking the plane ride home and sketching the card backs for what we know today as Mystic Vale.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
it was really cool. So Todd's like the first part of this. The second part is John Zinser. John Zinser has been such an amazing person in my board game life. That guy is such a great human being. And I am so happy to know him. And I owe a lot of what I'm doing today to AEG and those two guys in particular. So thanks, John. Thanks, Todd. You guys are awesome.
Nice.
nice. Extremely nice. Yeah, isn't that weird? Two Todds.
Yeah.
Two Todd Rowlands.
Two Todd Rollins.
Wow.
Like I said before, Todd gave me my first job. And,
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Or are you serious?
Nope. The first company I worked for at Gen Con was AEG because of Todd.
That's hilarious.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
Well, there's two people who haven't said anything.
I'm racking my brain.
Ah!
I mean,
well,
here's the thing, there's a lot of people who
to say,
No.
I think me, Scott
No,
Alden.
not
Couldn't
true.
have got here without me.
I have
Not true.
so many friends. that are
I'm
big-
trying to pick one.
How do I
There's
just
a lot of people. All right. Well, here's the one that keeps popping in my mind. Richard Brees.
No.
You know Richard Brees, the designer.
A little bit of a name drop, but
Has
yeah, go
been
ahead.
he's been very positive on the Board Game Geek world. He made a game based on us, the Board Game Geek logo and brand, for our 10th anniversary, which was kind of crazy, right? For a, even 10 years in, that's not a long time. And he did a Kickstarter with it. And he's always supported us. So you know, even back in the day, I remember meeting him at Essen in 2000, and I was looking for his, I think I was looking for that dragon game. I can't remember what's the name of that game. Dragon something or other.
No, I don't know.
What was the name of that game? Kedem. Kedem.
Keatum? Oh,
Do you remember
Keatum.
that? Do you remember
Yes,
Kedem?
I do. Yes,
And
I
I
do
remember
remember
going
that.
by his booth, and he was trying, he said he would try to find me one, but he didn't think it was going to be possible because, he only made like a couple hundred back in the day. And those was like early 2000s. So, he's just always been a bot, and he's come on our cruise, very supportive. Um, I don't know. It's just one of those guys that has always been around. I'm very thankful for him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Plus, he makes good games.
He does. I wish the Board Game Geek game was better. I mean, it was fine. It was in my mind a decent game. But it wasn't like one of his, crazy good ones. It wasn't like Keyflower is just so great.
Oh,
Mm.
Keyflower.
Keyflower
Oh,
is like I don't even understand why that's not in print anymore. That game is amazing.
I enjoyed Keyflow as well.
Keyflow, Keyflower, all the key games are pretty great.
Yeah.
Do all his designs have key in them?
No, he's done some other, like his latest one is called The Glade.
Did it
Which
inhabit
is
the earth?
What's up?
Inhabit the earth.
I never got to play that one.
It's
I meant to
weird.
play that one.
It's
Is it
weird.
in the library?
It is in the library. I need to grab it. Sometimes some games fall through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
You won't. My
Most
intention.
would have been my case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, can I go now?
I'll allow it.
Please.
All right. So no, there's three people that I'm thankful for that I've gotten to meet them and become friends with them. And not for anything else, just because they're really awesome people. So the first one is Richard Borg. So Richard Borg has got to be the nicest person in the hobby.
It really is.
So I met him and his wife had come to the first Dice Tower convention. And, I knew he was going to be there. I'm a big fan of his. I went over and I very nicely, thanked him for the stuff he'd done, asked him to sign my copy of Memoir 44. And we talked and just regular, how's everything going? Oh, I'm here with your, I was there with my ex-wife and the kids. We went to Disney before and everything. And then, so that was in July. In August, I'm at Gen Con and he comes walking up to me. Hey, Anthony, how's everything going? And I'm like, hey, Richard, how are you? It was like the fact that he that 15-minute conversation I had with him at Dice Tower, the fact that he remembered who I was. And, at the time, I had nothing to offer him. I was not one of those people who, oh, when we talked to you, I want you to promote my game or something. No, he just came and said hello. And it was just very genuine. And then every time I've seen him since then, he sees me, he smiles, he waves. If I'm talking to someone, I go over, talk to him. Great guy.
That's fantastic.
Second one, this one's good. Kind of one of those people who started out as anyone knew or anything, but Ray Weirs from Calliope. So I met Ray before he even started Calliope. He had a game called Arcane Legions. It was a tray-based miniatures game that I thought was really cool. And I had talked to him about a couple things, and he actually reached out to me and he's like, hey, do you want to be on the development team? So he got a few of us guys who, were just fans of the game, and we get on phone calls with him, and you know, talk about like things we'd like to see in the game and things that were needed to be tweaked and whatnot. And then just as Calliope was starting, he was doing New York Toy Fair, and he reached out to me because I know you're in New York and it's a big ass, but you know, you think maybe you can come give me a hand just, in case I'm talking to someone that's so. And I'm like, yeah, sure, Ray. And like every single time I see Ray, Ray is like stops what he's doing, comes over, big hug, how's everything going, and just a good guy. He's one of those people that even if I don't like games that he puts out or whatever, it's one of those people I always like root for because genuinely good guy. And the third, as most people wouldn't be surprised, is Ignacy Chavicek. So I met Ignacy at Gen Con. He was there when Robinson Crusoe first came out. And he was there in the Z-Man booth teaching the game. And I was a fan of 51st State. So I went over, introduced myself, asked him to sign my copy of the game. And like every time I walked by, like he stopped me and we talked. And then we became friends. Like we talked him into coming to Gen Con for the first time with his own booth. And he's like, I don't know. I said, Ignacy, we'll be there. I will be there to help you out and all that. And like since then, like I've become friends with his wife. I talk to her all the time on Facebook. Like we did the first PAX Unplugged. We ran the booth for him because he wasn't going to come, but he wanted to be there because it was the first one. He ended up showing up, and then he's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, go and see the city because you're not supposed to be here. His wife sent me vodka with him because I had to deal with him when I wasn't expecting to. But like just a genuinely like nice person because a good person and a good friend. So, I'm grateful for those three gentlemen as well as several others, but those three are the ones that come to mind.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, there you go. So happy Thanksgiving.
So Lance, when you started talking about yours, I thought you were going to say somebody else.
Oh, who'd you think I was going to say?
When you started telling the story about when you first started and all that, I thought you were going to say Scott.
Oh, well, I mean, Scott's an obvious one. I mean, but the thing about that is like, I don't even know what it was. I think it was like, he actually sent me this is Scott Nicholson. Scott sent me he posted something on Board Game Geek, and then I responded to it, and I kind of cracked wise, and then he sent me like a geek mail, like a direct geek mail. And then I asked, and then I asked him for his email, and then we kind of exchanged emails every once in a while. And it wasn't until like when he moved to Canada, and then when his father was still alive, he was going to travel down to Fergus Falls, Minnesota, which is where his parents were living at the time. And he said, I'll have a couple of days. He's like, would you want to hang out? And so, yeah. And then Scott came over to my house and played games with me and my buddies for like 5-6 hours. We just had a blast. And that's what kind of began. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I feel bad about that. I should reach out. I mean, which is one of those things where it's like I should have done. But yeah, I'll say this about Scott Nicholson. If you ever get a chance to play games with him, he is like he like whether he does it on purpose or whatever, he's just decided that everybody's just gonna have an absolute blast. And he's making jokes, and he's engaging with everybody at the table, and he's on point. I mean, that guy could be if you had to do a like if there was ever like what's I'm looking for when you go and watch like improv comedy, if there was ever like an improv comedy board game guy, that it would be him. Just just very, very funny, very, very effusive, kind, decent, good dude. So yeah, I feel bad I haven't talked to him probably in a couple of years. But yeah. I finished. I actually read a book.
Oh,
Yeah, somebody recommended me a book saying it was a really good horror novel. It's called Lost Man's Lane. And they said if you like Stephen King, you'll like this. He writes it's a nom de plume of a guy who normally writes crime novels. But he's written like two or three horror novels, and the two or three horror novels he writes is Scott Carson is what he calls himself.
Oh, I know that name.
But he uh it felt like I was reading a Stephen King book. If you've read Stephen King, you know that Stephen King likes to um last lines of chapters foreshadow something. You know, like famously in Pet Cemetery, there's a chapter where towards the beginning of the book, and this is, you know, I mean, if you've read the book or watched the movie, I don't care. There's a last line of a chapter where he says, he's talking to like the main character of the book um is flying a kite with his son, his like 4 or 5 year old son or whatever. And it's something like the sun was out, it was a beautiful day. He didn't realize that within the next month his son would be dead. It's like one of those things where it's like he has that line that like lets you in on something horrible or something that's gonna happen. And this guy hits that well over and over again in his things. But it works because then you're like, oh, this thing's going to happen. I need to know what's going to happen. He also suffered from the exact same thing that Stephen King has been suffering from, like in every single book he's ever written. He doesn't know how to wrap up a story. Like everything just kind of falls apart at the end. Like it's just like a mad rush to get to the end of the book. And it's probably because there's like a big reveal and you've been waiting for the big reveal for a while. And then once the big reveal's done, you're not waiting for a big reveal anymore. You're waiting to see how it just summarizes itself and gets to the end. And I mean, it was like a 400 some page book that I burned through in a couple of days. So I mean, it kept my interest. It was very enjoyable. So if you like horror novels,
What was it called?
um, Lost Man's Lane, and I'm this is not this is basically straight from the the dust jacket. If you read that, the premise of it is teenage kid gets pulled over by a cop who for speeding on the day that he gets his license. And the cop is like really kind of menacing and intimidating.
Yep.
And he gives him a ticket, and he sees that the cop's got a girl like in the back seat of his squad car, like been arrested or something like that. And then and then he goes home, and then the next day he sees this report of that girl is missing and nobody knows where she is. And then he's like, I got pulled over by a cop. He had her, and he's like, this is his name. This is the ticket that I have that he gave me. And they're like, there's nobody by that name that works for the police station. There's like, and he's like, but you know, and basically he's like, it wasn't a fake cop. He was a real cop. And he was like, and so he's like, why doesn't anybody believe him? You know, or like, is he hoaxing or something like that? But it's also just like, but why did he see that, and why? And so I won't say anything more. But then he starts trying to figure out why in the hell did he see this cop, and but nobody else saw him, nobody else knows who he is, nobody else, and there's no record of this guy ever, and trying to find out what happened to the girl. So it's it'll and then it's also kind of a little bit of a coming of age story about like a 17-year-old kid, you know, just like
What's the get called again?
what?
What's it called again?
Lost Man's Lane by Scott Carson.
I started reading a book on the plane.
Yeah.
We Are Legion. Do you know this book?
Oh,
Do you know
is
that?
that
The Bobaverse?
Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
So fucking
I'm
good.
intrigued by it. I'm like I don't know, maybe
4 books, they're
a
all
third of the
really
way
good.
through the first book.
Yeah.
So the premise is a guy he sells his software company for like a lot of money. They don't really say, but enough money that he can like live comfortably for the rest of his life. He puts himself he signs up for this cryo like freezing plan, and the next chapter he's dead. And when he wakes up, he's in the future, and that's where it starts getting interesting.
Yeah, like 125 years later.
He's no longer a body. He's a artificial intelligence, and
Oh,
Yeah.
that's as far as I've gotten.
It's fantastic. It's really
Fantastic.
great.
All right, well, I'm gonna keep going with it.
Yeah.
The
I'm listening to the second book of a series, an 11 book series, called He Who Fights with Monsters.
I've heard of that one.
It's really good.
Okay.
Like I came off of Dungeon Crawler Carl and started listening to this. I'm like, I don't know. I'd say it's got some pretty big shoes to fill. Carl has some pretty casts a pretty big shadow. But this is really fun. It's super fun.
11 book series.
I know, right?
Wow.
And do you know what the crazy thing is? First book
It's
came
like
out in
so it's an
2021.
RPG type thing, like lit RPG.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The super nuts thing is the first book came out in 2021
That's not a long time ago.
for $11 in 3 years.
Wow.
But it's so this is kind of like a lot of uh the trope is where this guy he's from Australia, he's in Melbourne or something like that, and he wakes up in a different world and kind of like the Terminator where he's all naked and everything, but and then he's like this world has like magic and stuff, and it just chronicles his journey through this world of gaining trying to live in this world of magic and mystery and things, and it's super fun. He's got a really smart mouth, uh, and he keeps making these pop culture references that nobody has any clue what he's talking
Okay.
about. But anyways, it comes off as pretty good.
Huh, cool.
Yeah. In fact, I'm probably going to take off in a little bit and go listen to that before I go to sleep.
11 books. It's amazing.
I know.
I
And,
don't get that many. Like it's just crazy. It must have
well,
been.
yeah, I mean, I watched a review of like the best lit RPG books, and this guy was like, "Yeah, this series is really good." He's like, "I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say that all 11 are like chart toppers. There are a couple of dogs in there, but
Hmm.
so far, book one was great. Book two so far really good. So
The author's name is Shirt Aloon.
yeah, it's like Trevor. His real name is Trevor something or other.
Yeah. Travis
Travis.
Deverell.
That's it.
But Shirt Aloon is his name on
Yeah, I saw that.
Shirt Aloon was working on a very boring academic paper when he realized that writing about an interdimensional kung fu wizard would be way more fun. And it's got like a lot of 5 stars.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Oh, cool.
the banter in this book is fantastic.
Great.
Like you're listening to it with a smirk on your face for like most of it. It's really fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
what else? All right, talked about that. I talked about um
Anybody watching Dune?
Nope.
I'm waiting
Buckle.
for it to be done before
Oh my God, it's so good.
I
It's
haven't seen the
so
second
good.
movie yet.
Oh my God.
well then you're
Watch
dumb.
it. You gotta watch it. So here's the thing. This is 10,000 years before Paul Atreides.
Yeah.
So it's like the formation of like the Bene Gesserit. They don't exist yet. You don't even know what a Benny. You know what Benny Gesserit is,
Yeah,
though.
Benny and the Jets. Yeah,
Benny,
I'm
not
aware.
Benny, yeah, Benny and the Dead. That's a fucking love that.
Oh, come on. All right. Well, watch the second half of Dune, then go back to the Dune Apocalypse.
All right,
Pretty great.
done.
Called Dune Apocalypse? I don't even know what that is. Is that the name? Feels like Dune Apocalypse.
No, it's something like that.
No, it's Dune something, whatever. I don't
It
know.
is.
Prophecy. Dune
Yeah.
Prophecy.
I don't know
Oh,
if
it's so
Scott,
good.
I don't know if you
Oh,
ever
man.
go to this site epguides.com.
F guides?
Like episode guides, EP
Oh, F
guides.
guides. F guides.
Like this whenever I want to look up a TV show or what's going to be new this week or whatever. That's the site I go
Oh,
to.
cool. I did not know about this website.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
The internet still exists.
Yep.
The only problem with Dune is it's coming out once a week. I want it all now.
Yeah,
Like, please give me the rest of it now.
Philo does the same thing and it pisses me off.
There's some really crazy shit though in this. I don't even want to talk. I really can't say anything. It's not spoil it all, but it's just like batshit crazy stuff. And yeah, hopefully nobody. Well, someone's got to be watching it out there, not just me.
Yeah.
Oh, this is neat looking. Is this a Harry Potter game?
Yeah, Costco has a 100-inch TV for under $1,700. Do you remember when 100-inch TVs would be like $1 million? Like
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
ten,
remember, yeah.
$20,000?
No, it's just like, if you sign up for our credit card, we'll give you one.
Yeah. The show is good. Kabuki, you should watch it. I mean, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. It's political intrigue in space. Like the Emperor is weak and he has to team up with somebody, and there's all this stuff, and yep, Bene Gesserits are forming, and there's more to it than that.
This looks. Have you heard of this game, Foxpaw?
No, what is it?
It's Stefan Godot. It looks really neat
Clear your
actually.
screen.
Yeah, just a sec.
Fox Paw.
Yeah, I think you just changed the name of it too, but
Cool. I like the stick. Does it
I
come
know
with
it's
Yeah, that's cool.
stick with a blue
comes with
crystal on
it,
the
I
end of
think.
it? That's a great piece. Magical worker placement board game. Does it come with the wand?
I
It
maybe
looks. I mean, that's in another picture I just saw
it
there.
might come with the
With two
STL file.
life-size PVC wands. Make your epics. Make your duels epic. What? What does that got to do with anything? Is that part of the game? With two life-size wands. What? I've not heard of this game.
I think it's on GameFound right now.
It looks like a Harry Potter game.
That's what I thought it was when
I
I
see someone
first.
riding a broom. I see the wands.
Oh, it's not even launched yet.
I see the Harry Potter logo. That's Harry Potter game. Harry Potter castle in the background. Come on. A non-licensed Harry Potter game.
Yeah, well, with J.K. Rowling on the outs these days,
Sure.
not surprising.
Nope, not surprising.
I read
Any
another
other interesting crowdfunding games going on?
Love Conquers All. Go back it again.
Oh yeah, I meant to back that one.
Love Conquers All.
Yeah, it's by Jeff Sidek. It's a fun little polyomino game, $25. And the premise is cool. There's like it's cooperative. Each person has a hand of cards. Um, each card represents a polyomino, and they're all different shapes, and they represent different troubles that can affect your life in some way or other. And like it isn't just like, oh, grief, or it can be like, parents, like just because they can cause things to go wrong. Money, just stuff like that. And you have to when you place it onto the board, you're going to eventually run out of space, but you would then have to put the card in front of you, and that card has a rule on it that determines where you can place that spot. And then a lot of the times it has a rule that will affect all the placements of every single card you play again in the future. And in some cases, if they're really tough, they affect everybody who's playing. And it's cooperative, and you can't tell people the cards you have in your hand, but you can say, I can do something. You have to be vague. You can't just say, I have this card, please leave room for me. But if somebody does something, you can say, don't do that, because then I won't be able to go and we'll lose.
That's
So
cool.
you have that kind of going on. But the really, really cool thing is that there are like 8 tiles that are called love tiles, and these things are kindness or like I mean just there's some aspect of love, like trust, things like that. And
Mhm.
when you place one of those tiles down, one, the rule that they give you is like a bonus. Like you pick another person and you say you can discard one of your cards and it's just gone. They don't have to worry about it anymore, and they don't have to worry about trying to place it. But any tile that you place the love card next to that touches, you flip those tiles over, and people get to get rid of those cards as well. Because like love, if somebody like shows you kindness, it takes away your grief, that kind of thing. So thematically, it's like you're placing that card to like show somebody that hey, life isn't all horrible. Here's something that's awesome. Friendship, things like that. And also, like any tiles that get placed next to that tile, if they still can attach, also you still have to use the rule to place the tile, but as soon as it's placed, you immediately flip it over and you get rid of the card. And so that's why the whole love conquers all comes in, where it's just like because it's supposed to be about relationships and how relationships kind of like have all this baggage. But if you and the people you are in relationship with, love and care about each other, you'll get past those things and you'll defeat them. And it's like and I don't say this to pull at your heartstrings, but Jeff Sidek, he's run Guerrilla Games and he's been part of the industry for like well over a decade. He's probably best known for Battle Stations. That was his game that basically let you play as Star Trek. It was like that was the whole piloting a spaceship and getting into battles and having a role playing aspect. But he's battling cancer right now, and he's very upbeat about it, and he's very positive about it, and he and things look like treatment's going well, but he's just always been a really really good dude, and he's we exchanged a few emails and about it, and he was just like and he said something very kind to me. I'm not going to share it, but he did say something and it made my day. And he's kind of like one of these people that like nobody knows who he is, but he's been publishing games for over a decade. And Lifeboat, which he's coming out with a Lifeboat is I've said this 1,000 times. Lifeboat is like one of the like uncommon gems that nobody knows that exists. It's a game where there's 6 people on a lifeboat, and everybody has a purpose that is completely and totally hidden from everybody else, because there's a goal that you have because of the role that you have. There's a person in the lifeboat that you love that you have to make sure that they survive, and there's a person on the lifeboat that you hate and you have to make sure that they die. And those could be yourself. You could get yourself on for both of those things, where it's like you hate yourself and you want to end your life, and then but somebody in the boat loves you and wants to like save you, and so you're actually working against. And there's I mean it's a grim game. It has kind of a gallows humor type of theme to it, but the game is amazing, and he's going to come out with like a deluxe version of that probably next year. So, but anyway, that's me. Go back. Love conquers all. $25.
Hey,
$25. Get a game.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scott, to answer your question, those wands are part of gameplay.
Okay.
So during battles between the two players, you'd pick up your wand, you close your eyes, and then you position your wand in one of 3 different ways.
Wait. Are we still talking about the game? Or are we
That
talking about something else?
foxball game.
I'll position. Close your eyes. I need to position my wand.
Close your eye, and you either like hold your wand like straight up, point it at the,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do this.
or point it down. And then based on the
Okay.
results of what the two players do, that's what settles the outcome of the battle.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Huh.
But can you
Okay.
handle it?
So it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors game of chicken at the same time.
Right. I'm sure I'll try it someday.
Hello, Evan.
What up?
All right, Evan.
What's up?
Who's the person in the industry that you're thankful for?
Who am I thankful
Shane
for?
Myerscough.
Ha!
I am thankful for Shane. I'm thankful for lots of people. I have to. Is it just one? Is that what I pick?
Well, I picked two, so if you want to, but I mean, don't go crazy with it.
I pick the people.
Can't
who
be somebody
cheer.
that's on the album either. Has to
What?
be. Sorry.
I appreciate you too, Evan, though.
Otherwise, we'd all
Yeah, well.
just pick Aldi and you know.
No.
I was gonna pick Forrest.
Yeah.
Grateful for that is not on the album. I am grateful for Joshua Lobkowitz.
Mm.
That guy has believed in me since day one and has treated me with kindness, respect, and he's a damn fine human being. I'm very thankful for him.
There you go.
Bam.
And done.
Bam.
What is this person in your? What's the relationship?
He's
Josh?
he's the other owner of Gray Fox Games.
Oh, I didn't know there was another owner of Brave Fox Games.
I mean, Shane's the majority owner, but
Oh.
but Josh is the minority owner of it.
Okay.
And he's the number one like board game developer and yeah, there you go.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Are you what are you doing for Thanksgiving tomorrow, Evan?
We're heading over to the in-laws. Have some turkey and pie, Huge. How about you guys? Anything
Huge. I'm in Memphis.
wacky? What's that?
I'm in Memphis.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, my
I saw you
sister.
post your-
Yeah.
Did,
My brother's here. My dad's here. My stepmother's here.
Oh, that's nice. Do you guys have any special dish that's different than usual? Like a family tradition?
No, not for me. Pretty standard. My stepsister on my stepfather's side basically did make a meat stuffing that I just loved first time I had it, but it's been a long time since I've seen her, so I miss it.
Yeah, I bet. Sounds good.
Aldi, if you come to Connecticut, I'll make you my meat stuffing.
That's right. I'll have it.
You
I'll take it
guys-
all.
Meat. I am a meat popsicle.
Meat puppet. Meat
Send the
puppet.
car
Meat
for him.
popsicle.
What's that from? I am a meat popsicle.
I know what it's from.
You know what it's from?
I do.
What is it from?
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, baby.
Bruce Willis.
Yep.
When he's getting raided.
Yeah, and the guy comes to the thing and he yells, "Smoke you!" He's like, "Wrong answer, pal."
Give me the what do you say? Give me the what is it? What is
He
he
says
saying?
like tag him and bag him, doesn't
Give me
he?
the
And, like,
cash. Give me the cash.
yeah.
Right? Or something like that. Give me the
Yeah.
cash.
I just
That
remember,
was
and
such a
then
great movie. Oh my gosh. I wish that guy still made movies.
Is that Luc Besson?
Is it Luc Besson?
yeah, it was Luc
Okay.
Besson.
Is it Luc Besson?
Yeah, it was Luc Besson. Ask me again.
Oh. I thought it was somebody different.
No, I mean that was like Chris Tucker's like first
Yeah.
97.
that was his first thing, and I remember sitting there watching the movie. I was
Was
like,
it?
somebody kill him! Like, can he please die or
I
something?
thought he was funny. I love him.
Oh
Me
man,
too.
he was just driving me absolutely crazy. I was
Ruby
like,
Rod.
somebody
Ruby
put a
Rod.
bullet in him.
My man. My man. I
Oh.
love that movie. Oh my
So
god.
good.
So good. I almost want to watch it now.
I know, right? Now I'm like, oh.
You want more? I just heard that robot like asking him if he wants a drink. You want more? Just
God, that movie. There's just so many good things in that movie.
Yeah.
It's so over the top, just
It's
in
pretty
craziness.
magical.
Just so great. I wish there was a Fifth Element pinball machine.
Oh
That'd be
yeah,
so
that'd be
great.
cool.
There's your challenge, Scott, for 2025.
Try to
Yeah.
find the try to get a
Not find
Fifth
one.
Element made.
Get one produced, man.
By the
Yeah,
way,
make
did I tell
yeah.
you guys that registeredpinballgeek.com
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
required it?
You know enough people, you can get one made.
I don't think I do. I don't think I can. It's hard. Oh,
Plant the seed in
there's
the
a new
right
pinball
person's
machine for
ear.
for Evil Dead. Evil Dead 1 and 2. Just announced
Nice.
from Spooky. It looks okay. I'm not really a fan of Evil Dead, but I think
Go.
if you're a fan of Evil Dead, it will give you
What?
everything you want.
What?
Yeah, bring it up.
Bruce Campbell,
Share your
man.
screen. Share your screen. Like, bring it up. He does the call outs, but they sound a little weak to me. Like, I feel like I would say more, more. I don't know. Have you guys seen Lost in Translation?
Yeah.
No.
When they're like more enthusiasm. What did they say to him, Bill Murray? Like they're like more enthusiasm or something like that. I can't remember what the word is, but I'm like, I think I would tell Bruce Campbell like more enthusiasm. You're just reading the lines.
Yeah, oh yeah, Lost in Translation when he's
Or
sitting there.
what
When the director he says like he
he's
talks for
filling
like
up for
5 minutes.
yeah
And he's like,
like
yeah,
5 minute rant.
he's like he wants more enthusiasm.
No,
He's
no,
like
it was more. What was it? More energy. What is it? What
more
did he?
energy, and he's just like
Oh.
it sounded like he said a lot more.
Yeah, it sounded like he said a few more things there. I love Lost in Translation, by the way. It's so great. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
More. What does he say? Not more enthusiasm. It's something else.
Is that the more feeling one? With again with more feeling.
Once more with feeling.
What was that?
Yeah.
That was something different.
More intensity. More intensity.
More intensity. That's what it was. Yeah.
I would tell Bruce Campbell more intensity. Because it just sounds like he's reading lines. Like, do you know what pinball call-ins
He
are?
says, director, um, in Japanese to the, this is directly from the script, director in Japanese to the interpreter. The translation is very important, okay? The translation. Interpreter. Yes, of course, I understand. Director. This is the actual Mr. Bobson. You are sitting quietly in your study, and then there is a bottle of Suntory whiskey on top of the table. You understand, right? With wholehearted feeling, slowly look at the camera, tenderly, as if you are meeting old friends. Say the words as you are a bogey in Casablanca saying, cheers to you guys, Suntory time.
Ring a ding ding.
Interpreter, he wants you to turn, look in camera, okay? That's all he said. Yes,
Oh,
turn to
oh, so
camera.
you're going from the actual
Yeah,
translation
this is what
of the
it says.
film.
Bob, does he want me to turn from the right or turn from the left? Interpreter. In very formal Japanese to the director. He has prepared and is ready. He wants to know when the camera rolls, would you prefer that he turn to the left or would you prefer to turn to the right? And that is the kind of thing you would like to know. Director, very brusquely, in much more colloquial Japanese. Either way is fine. That kind of thing doesn't matter. We don't have time. Bob-san, okay? You need to hurry. Raise the tension. Look at the camera slowly with passion. It's passion we want. Do you understand? Uh, interpreter, right side with intensity. Is that everything? He said it. He just saying quite a bit more. What are you talking about? It's not just whiskey, you know? You understand? It's like you are meeting old friends. Softly, tenderly, gently. Let your feelings boil up. Tension is important. Don't forget tension, tension. Interpreter, like an old friend, into camera. Okay. You understand you love whiskey? It's Suntory time, okay? Okay, let's go. For relaxing times, make it Suntory time. Cut, 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 cut.
It's so good.
It's such a good scene.
I love that movie. So great.
Uh,
It's good.
well, then it's like
Have
cut,
you
cut,
seen it,
cut.
Matt? Have you guys seen it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Lost in
Been
Translation?
forever though.
No.
Wait,
You
wait,
should
here, listen to
watch
this.
it.
Then he said, uh, don't try to fool me. Don't pretend you don't understand. Do you even understand what we're trying to do? Suntory is very exclusive. The sound of the words is important. It's an expensive drink. This is number one. Now do it again. And you have to feel that this is exclusive, okay? This is not an everyday whiskey, you know? Interpreter. He wants you to do it slower and with more ecstatic emotion.
More intensity.
More intensity. Roll. You know, make it Centauri. If we're relaxing times, make it Centauri time. Cut, cut, cut. I'm begging you.
Yeah, that's
But-
great.
Do you know what I just watched last week was Cross.
What's that?
Alex Cross. Um, it's a book series by Tyler Perry,
Okay.
and it's with Aldous Hodge, the guy that played Hawkman in Black Adam,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and he was also in Leverage, but it was really good. It was like he's like a detective in, I can't remember what city he's in, New York, I think maybe, and he's yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good. I'd recommend.
What's it called? Cross?
Cross. It's on Prime.
Oh, what's it about?
So it's just basically he's a detective who lost his wife the year before. She was gunned down, and he has two kids, and he's just there's a new killer and trying to catch the killer, and it's quite good. Yeah, it's like
Neat.
a 9 or 10 episodes or something like that. But I'd watch a second season of that.
Yeah.
You guys seen that Arcane show?
Yeah,
Heard of it?
fantastic.
It just
I've-
doesn't look like something I would enjoy.
It's really good though. Like I've never played League of Legends. I've never played any of that stuff, but
Me either.
the story is really good. And the animation is so different than what you've seen.
Oh, it's animated.
Arcane, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I just watched the first episode of season 2. I'm really enjoying it. The first season I binged like literally in one sitting.
I've been looking for something to watch, and I heard a lot of people saying good things about that one.
Arcane's good. Yeah,
Well, now the Penguin's over, I got to start watching that with my wife.
I've not
So,
seen that.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
The
So
Penguin.
Penguin.
Penguin. Have you ever heard Benedict
Penguin.
Cumberbatch pronounce penguin?
Yes.
Penguin.
And he needs to he needs to pronounce it like 1,000 times. It's so good. Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I told you guys that I made my son watch Three Amigos and we loved it.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
Kelly
You guys
like
are
it?
going through
Good.
The old classics. That's right.
Like I said, I think did I talk about this before or no?
No.
So I said, hey, we're gonna watch this, and he was like, okay, and he's like, and so he started it up, and like some of the stuff, the obvious stuff, he really thought was funny, like like the invisible swordsman getting shot, like that's funny.
Yeah.
The scene where they're all dying of thirst and Martin Short puts up in just sand, hits his face or whatever. And then Chevy Chase just has a full canteen of water, and then he's like, "Oh, do you want some lip balm?" Like he thought that was, but like Caleb found like such weird stuff just hilarious. Like every single time Martin Short, "Oh, I did that when I was in Little Nettie Goes to War," and he's like, "Little Nettie Goes to War." He was just like, he thought like the names of all of Martin Short's like weird movies were just hilarious. And like and I mean, he couldn't breathe. He was laughing so hard during the cool. Look up here, look up here, look up here.
I haven't seen that movie in God,
Oh, just
2 decades.
Yeah.
When he gets the guns and he takes out the gun and he's just like, "What is his name up there?" The guy on the roof, he's like, "Oh, that is Juan." He's like, "Juan, take off your hat and hold it up higher." It just shoots him. It's like he's gonna just shoot him, but he just uh Yeah.
Never saw that movie.
You've never seen Three Amigos? Oh
No, I
my
never did.
God, that is
That's
such a good.
good.
You've
It's
got to
good.
watch it. It's like it's 90 minutes and it's over. But it's just and it was like and it was Chevy Chase when he was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, which is
Okay.
yeah. I mean, Chevy just it's like it's like um you are very brave. And like when he's talking to some woman, he's like, you are very brave and handsome. Oh, thanks. He's like, would you like to go for a walk with me? He's like, oh, very much. And he's like, and maybe later you can kiss me on the veranda. He's like, can we do lips instead? Just like,
I saw a thing on Facebook today that said that Scrooged was released 36 years ago.
oh, Scrooged.
Anyways,
Such a good movie.
I am gonna take a powder. I gotta do some stuff before I go to bed. So have a good Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, happy belated Thanksgiving.
Happy Thursday. Yeah, thanks. Hope you all get some good grub in you and enjoy the foosball. I'll see you on the flip side.
Foosball.
See you, buddy.
Night.
See it. Foosball.
Foosball.
Foosball?
The sports ball.
Yep, that's the one.
I've heard it both ways.
Did Minnesota win this weekend?
Like Minnesota Vikings?
Vikings.
Yeah, we we were up
Was it like
by
tied?
we were up by we were up by 11 with 25 seconds to go, and we
What?
and we had to win in overtime. And then
What
the game
happened?
started.
I feel like I need to watch that ending now.
So to be fair, it was like we're up by 11, like a minute 56 to go. We put in the prevent the win defense. The Bears go all the way down.
Prevent your own win.
Yeah. It's like they go all the way down. They score a touchdown. And
Okay.
then okay, it was like, well, they got to get a touchdown. Okay, they got to get a 2-point conversion. Well, they got a
Right.
2-point
Oh,
conversion.
so they did
well,
get it.
they got to get an onside
They
kick.
got to get an onside kick.
They get the
Got an
onside
onside kick. That's unreal. There's only
they
been
get the
two
onside
successful
kick with
onside kicks this season.
they get the onside kick with like 16 seconds left, and I was like, well, they got to kick a field goal, and like the like guy gets open like 30 yards downfield. They throw it to him. They run up. They spike it, and then they kick the field goal.
Yeah.
And then thankfully, and then they won the toss. And I'm sitting there screaming at my TV. Yeah. My wife is like asking me, like, it's like, what kind of example are you setting for your son? And I was like, because he loves the Vikings. I was like, you motherfuckers, just like, and then the Bears win the toss and they get the ball, and I was like, we're gonna lose. And then the Bears, remember, they were the Bears, and the Vikings remember how to play defense. And it's like first play, incomplete pass, second play, 15-yard sack, third play, delay a game penalty on the Bears.
Really?
So it was like it was 3rd and 22, and they had to just throw a dump off, and then and then Sam Darnold, like, we had it on the 10. Well, no, we were on like the 6 or something like that. And the punt was just fantastic. But Sam Darnold threw for like 90 yards of just pass, set up a chip shot field goal, game over.
Well,
Yeah. So I mean, but we escaped with the win, and now 9-2, baby, and we signed Daniel Jones. So,
I forgot that the NFL went to sudden death, like whoever scores first. Right.
Well, in the regular season, both teams get a possession.
Oh, that's okay. But that's not true always.
Well, if they both like kick a field goal or neither team scores, the game ends in a tie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like necessary sudden death, but they play the full quarter.
Yeah. That's different.
That used to be 10 minutes, didn't it, Lance?
yeah.
So basically, whoever got the ball first could just milk the clock,
Right.
kick the field goal, and then okay, we're done.
Yeah.
I thought it was first person who scored.
Yeah, first person you can kick a field goal and you won. So
Yeah.
it was just
That used to be.
Yeah. But if someone
If someone scores a
scores,
touchdown,
then the other team has to score.
if you score a touchdown in the regular season on the first possession, you're done.
Oh, you win?
Or if you get a safety.
I see. Field goal doesn't do it.
No.
for the longest time, the Vikings were the only team that won that won a overtime game with a safety. And I always remember because I was working at a bowling alley on a Sunday in the 80s. It was like 88 or 89. And it was Rams versus Vikings at the Metrodome. And the bar was closed. I worked at this little basically this like a fryer bar. You know, we grilled we made fries and hamburgers. That's what we did. But we had to be there to make food for um the bowlers that would come in. And anyway, so I turned on so I have the game on, and Rich Carless kicked 7 field goals for the Vikings. Rich Carless, he was he was a barefoot kicker. He was he kicked 7 field goals, and for 21 points, and the Rams got 3 touchdowns for 21 points, and they went into the overtime, and Rams went 3 and out, and they were like on their like 15 or 10. And Mike Merriweather, the linebacker, blocked the punt, and it bounced out of the back of the end zone, which means it's a safety. 2 points. Vikings win 23-21. And they were like, so, and then Rich Carlos tied the record for most field goals in a game with 7. And they were like, and normally what happens is that like you send your kicking shoe to but he was a barefoot kicker, and they were like, well, cut off his foot and then send it to him. But I think what they did was they actually did a plaster cast of his foot, and then they put that in the Hall of Fame. And I think since then somebody's kicked 8 in a game, so he no longer has the record anyway. But Rich Carless, barefoot kicker. I always thought that would suck if you had to if it was snowing and it was cold.
Right.
Get out there and kick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody else got any? I mean, I don't even have any grievances. I don't have any games. I was gonna maybe spend some time today coming up with some more before and afters, but I just didn't have the time, and I ended up running errands with my son all day today, and chasing down last minute stuff we needed for tomorrow. Whose turn is it even to do initials next week? I have no idea. That's why I asked.
Not mine.
Not me.
I do not.
No. I love it because
I don't think it
what
was
happens is we like it ends up being like 8 of us do it. It's like
Yeah.
so we all. Oh, I got one. Yeah, just yeah, but whatever.
I got an odd question for discussion.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So when you go out to eat, I mean, like the typical tip is like, around 20%.
Yep.
What is your usual tip when you order food to be delivered,
$5.
regardless of what the amount is?
$7 if it's like more than $50.
Okay. Lance?
Well, this is a good question. I just do 15%. I just do, figure what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So if it's like, I mean, if it's,
DoorDash usually figures out the tip. I usually just hit okay. But if it's less than $3, I'll give it 5.
And you take into account if there's a delivery fee in your tip.
I don't because I use DoorDash Premium.
ooh,
No
look at
delivery
this
fee.
guy.
No delivery. I mean, I pay delivery fees in it's a monthly fee,
Right.
but I don't count it towards because the driver will not get that. That's just for DoorDash.
Just,
Hey,
just
I have a
curious.
question. Anybody? I have another question on that note. If we're done with this
Yeah,
answer,
no, we're done. I was just
Well,
getting it.
no, I have something actually. Like now it's like commonplace to like give drivers, like $5, $6, $7 in tips, and well, that's fine. It's different. And it was a different world back when I delivered pizzas or whatever, like, forever ago. So, I mean, but I remember like we were like, if you got a buck or $2, that was like hog heaven.
good.
Like seriously, like
For a
it was.
pizza delivery, it was like $2.
Yeah, like
Wow.
literally, like, I mean, I can remember it was be like, oh yeah, your total's, $23.57, and they give you a
Give me a
dollar.
25.
And yeah, maybe. Or they
Like a buck
just,
25
It'd be like keep the
tip.
change kind of thing.
yeah,
Tips.
or they'd hand you a check and they'd give you a dollar as well.
Check. You had people pay pizza by check.
Well,
Yeah.
way back in the day, yeah. I mean, because people didn't have debit cards back then.
The place I was delivering for only takes cash and checks, no cards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think bounce checks would be harder to. You get it like a $25 bounce check fee. You would stop taking checks.
You gotta remember this is the 90s. People didn't, I mean, they
People
didn't
bounce
really.
checks in the 90s. I
Oh
think people
yeah.
bounce checks.
Well,
more than
maybe, but
that.
it wasn't. But that was like you turned it in and then you went after them or whatever.
Yeah, in a small enough town, you know.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was like it was one
How
of
do you
those
go
things
after
where
them?
there was all of those. I don't know if you remember these, but there were all these little stickers or whatever that said if your check bounces or whatever, it's like it was like there were companies that basically would go after people and collections that would like say, oh yeah, you bounce a check to this company that uses our service. Not only do you have to pay like the $22 for the pizza, but there's also a $40 fee. And they just and they would hammer on these. And there was like something where I was like, I don't know what it was, but they you would see them on the cash registers all the time. That would be like this thing. And I don't know how legal they were or how it worked, but
Yeah.
it was just a collections company, and and they would go after these people and get this money, and or else ruin their credit, because of the fact that they bounced a check. I mean, and I know for a fact that's the case because I had a buddy who bounced a check at J.C. Penney's, and like it was one of those things where it was like, oh, that collection company was like, it's like you bought a pair of jeans with a check that bounced. So, you owe J.C. Penney's not only the $20 for the jeans, but another $50 or whatever, which that collections company got like $30, and J.C. Penney's gets the $20 or whatever it was. And he was like, fuck that, I'm not paying them. And he just did. And then I remember one day, like I got a phone call from him. He's like, yeah, can you come and bail me out of jail? And I was like, what? And it was
Passing
like,
bad checks is a federal crime.
yeah. And he was like, and he was just like, yeah. So there, yeah. And like he came home from like he was working, and he came home for lunch, and there was a sheriff's deputy waiting for him.
Huh.
And they hauled him off.
Wow.
One in my past that I knew had been arrested for a bad check.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, and then and it was like a $500 fine, and he had to pay that thing. And I remember it was just like, uh, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing about it is passing a bad check is it's not cheap because your bank will charge you a bounce check fee, and then you have to pay the bounce check fee from the bank, the person you wrote it to, who deposited it. So yeah,
Well, and I just remember it's like it was just such a dumb thing, to do. But I remember it was like he had to he said they hauled him in, and it was like, and then they went in front of the judge, and the judge was like, well, he's like, the fine is $500 plus this, so it's like $623 and whatever. And my friend just said, I don't have $623. And he's like, and he said,
Go to jail.
okay. He's like, okay, well then, just follow this officer here and we'll take care of it. And he was like, okay, he thought, okay, they're gonna like, bill me and I'm gonna pay. No, he was like, okay, take off your shoes and hand me your belt. He's just like, what? He's like, yes, you're going to jail. He's just,
Yeah.
he's just like, oh shit, I have my phone call.
Wow.
Yeah. So
What was your follow-up question, Aldi?
I forgot. No, I know what it is. So when you guys go like valet and they charge you to valet, like let's say $10 or something, like for valet, do you tip the valet driver in addition to the
I do.
$10? You do.
I do.
I
Because
do, but
same thing.
It's only like $1, maybe $2.
I
Yeah.
have never valeted in my life, but anyway,
And you
so I wouldn't
always
know.
Well,
tip
there's lots of
them.
valet.
You always
dollars.
tip them when they take the car.
Oh, do you?
I
Well,
So-
haven't you seen Ferris Bueller? Jeez, they're gonna like.
Yeah, my Finsky.
I always tip the valet. Well, like if I'm gonna say, so even if I'm gonna tip, like if it's a free valet, like if I'm gonna tip $5 to the valet, I will like tip like $3 when they take the car, and then the other two when they bring it back,
Okay.
because they don't know if they're getting a tip. But if
Right.
you tip them in the beginning, they're like, "Oh, okay, this guy took care of me. I'm gonna go and because a lot of times I used to go to like in the Bronx, like we have catering halls that all they do is like weddings and like big parties and whatnot, and they have valets. And I like being Italian, I got so many freaking things, and I always tip the guys ahead of time. Now they don't usually have parking lots; they park the cars in the street. But like I got into a habit of I would tip the guy $5 when I got there, and whenever I left the wedding, my car was parked across the street. Like I didn't have to wait for them to go running down 3 or 4 blocks to go get the car to bring it back. Like they would leave the car in the closest spot possible because it's like, hey, we know this guy gave us money. Because other times, like, okay, and people would come out and just get in their car and leave and not give them anything, and I'm like,
Right. I feel like just that $10 valet or whatever it's gonna be, like it's usually like $10, right? Like in Dallas anyway. Like, man, it just seems like a rip.
well, the
That $10 isn't going to the person that parks the car at all.
Oh, because more than likely they're parking it in a garage where they're paying $8 per car to park there.
I see.
So that valet's probably getting $2.
No.
So it's like it's the same as if you order from a place and they have like $2 delivery charge. So like that $2 delivery charge when it's low like that, like it's not DoorDash, like the actual restaurant has the delivery charge.
Yeah.
That $2 is the guaranteed money that goes to the driver to cover their gas.
Got it.
So yeah, if they don't have their own lot, they park it in a lot that they rent out, but they have a deal like oh yeah, Friday nights, you don't have anyone parking there because you park people who are working during the day park in your lot. Like we use the lot and we'll charge we charge us $8 a car, kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I understand that now. I don't know. It just feels like
Yeah, I wouldn't pay $10 to Val if they have their own parking lot. Like, screw you.
well, sometimes in Dallas you have no choice. If you're going to that restaurant, you either park there or you got to figure out where you're parking on the street somewhere. And Dallas it's not easy sometimes. Like those downtown restaurants, there's a lot of just downtown with valets that you just have no idea where to park. And they just take your car and then you get it back. But they charge you $10 and then you're like, oh man, I gotta give you a tip too. It's just annoying.
I get it. But yes, if you have to tip a valet, tip them when they park the car.
Here's another thing. When you guys go to places where you order food, and you have to sign, you give them a credit card, do you tip if you don't have any service at all? Like you're just getting food and it's like a fast casual where you like order food and then you go sit down and they bring it to you, or like you have to call your number and you go pick it up, like Taco Diner, or sorry, Velvet Taco has that. Like you can leave a tip even though there's
Right.
no service at all. Do you leave a tip or no?
I don't know. I always feel weird about those.
Some places I do. If I go regularly,
Yeah,
I will leave a tip.
got it.
But
I
usually
do
it's
too.
more of a
Because I feel guilty. Like it's there. You have
Yeah.
to push the button. You have to hit 0. Like it's
Right.
okay. There, it's 3 choices: 15, 18, or 20. And I'm like, what if I don't want to leave a tip? I just say, I don't tip.
no
Like,
tip.
no tip. Like, where's the 0? It's like it's sort of frustrating because like there's no service at Velvet Taco. They don't bring you the tacos. They don't do anything for you. You don't. You have to make your own drinks. They're making the food. That's all they do.
Well, that's like
You tip somebody at McDonald's?
I mean, I
what are
don't
you,
know
Mr.
though.
Pink? No,
I'm just saying, like, it's the modern world that we're living in now. The tip is built into every
But
transaction.
wait. You just made that comment like that. The difference is that the people who work at Velvet Taco or McDonald's or whatever get paid full minimum wage.
Yeah,
People who wait tables don't.
right. I'm fine with that. But why am I getting asked for a tip when there's no service involved in
Because
the
that's
actual?
the way the world works.
Yeah, no, I mean,
There's a
I'm
little
not a
jar
fan.
there with with the money in it.
Now here's the thing, I still tip it anyway because it's like okay, but like I just
The
feel like
best is
frustrated.
so I do the thing where I don't put the tip in the tip jar unless they're looking at me.
Uh-huh.
You have the
So,
eyeball. If we get
how do you
eyeballed,
feel about, tipping a bartender
yeah, I
or
tip
tipping a
bartenders.
barista?
I don't tip baristas, I don't think. At least I'd maybe I don't know. I haven't been to Starbucks in a long time.
well, you know what I don't
I
like.
probably would though.
So there's a Starbucks relatively close to um where I live. It's in the parking lot of the strip mall near my house. And I will occasionally, like, if my wife's working from home, I will go and um go and get a coffee in the morning. But they if you go through the drive-through, they hand you that thing that has like your price on it, and then there's the thing. It's like tip $1, $2,
Yes.
$3,
Built
other,
in.
and then there's a big giant button with no tip, and it's like they hand it to you and they're looking right at you. So if you like go down here and hit no
You know
tip,
what
they know you're not
they
giving them
know you're
anything.
not getting anything. And then they're gonna spit in your food.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah, I don't think people do that.
I don't, but
I
but
have
they do
another
that.
tipping question, by the way.
They absolutely do that to make you feel like, oh, I better tip. I better hit the $1 at the least,
Maybe
just
one
like,
dollar is fine, right?
yeah. I mean,
I have another question about tipping. So sometimes when you eat at places that have more, and you have more than 6 people in your party, they put an automatic gratuity of 22% on your bill,
Do you
right?
tip
oh
on
yeah.
top of that?
I'm asking,
No,
do you tip on
absolutely
top of
not.
that or
Absolutely
no?
not. If you're gonna bake it into my thing, no.
Yeah.
I I
So
I do, but I don't tip what I would tip normally.
you would just do a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
So
okay,
if you would normally
going
tip
back
like,
to your other question about like when you're picking up food. So
oh,
my tendency to leave a tip is based on what I'm getting also.
okay.
So
Like if you're ordering,
if I'm going to Starbucks for me, and is usually a very simple order, but like where when I used to work in the office, like once in a while, like someone would make a Starbucks run and like it was my turn and I would go. And then you have to like give them like, 9 different mocha latte bullshit
mocha latte,
orders.
half
It's
cap,
like, okay,
double whip,
yeah.
squirt of vanilla.
Here's 15% because you had to deal with this nonsense.
Right.
But like if I walk in and I'm like, yeah, I just need you know, a large Pike's room for cream and a bagel with butter, like that's quick. That's not
No.
difficult. It's more of the inconvenience for you of the thing.
Got it. Okay.
So here, okay, another tipping question.
Okay.
Okay, so you go to a wedding or a baptism or something like a party, like at a catering place or a hotel ballroom, whatever.
Catered party.
Yes. Do you tip the person who takes care of you at the table?
No. Never have.
No.
Do you tip the bartenders though?
Occasionally. Like if it's an open bar,
If it's an open bar, yeah.
yeah, I would
Oh,
tip
it's an
them.
open bar, yeah, I do.
I would
But
tip
not
them.
every time I go up. Like,
Yeah, maybe once or twice, but not
Okay.
every time. Yeah, I think I feel like $1 or $2.
I always tip those
I would
people.
tip.
You know, and the reason I do is because what I worked in catering, and it
So
depends
for
on the place you
catering-
work at. It's a thing, but they put on an 18% gratuity on the cost to the person who's having the party.
Yeah.
And that 18% does not go to
It
the
never goes to the employees.
like they'll take part of
I'm
it
sure that's
sometimes,
illegal, right?
give it. But like I always like when I got married, when Jen and I got married, we got married at a small place over here. We didn't have a big, huge wedding, but like, and we actually know the people who own it. And I said to them, I said, how many people are going to be working that night? And he's like, oh, we'll have enough. I said, no, I need to know how many people because I wanted to, I want to tip them. He's like, oh, no, he goes, we actually give them the gratuity. He goes, I said, no, I want to tip them myself. So, and it wasn't a lot. Like I gave him like $25 each. But it was like okay, you are going above and beyond than, your gratuity part that you get from the thing. And I'm like, I always do it. And it's in certain places, I guess people aren't used to it or what it is. But like, again, where I grew up, if you gave the kid who was taking care of your table at a catering hall, they took care of you. Like literally, you didn't have to go to the bar. They would go get you drinks. It was one of those things where, it was, again, not a lot of money, but they looked at it and like, oh, okay, this person took care of me. I'm going to take care of them. Because everybody else, they don't know you. If you're at a wedding, it's not like you're going to a restaurant and you get good service and whatever, and you're going to go back. Oh, well, he's not, oh, let's go to a wedding next week there. No, you have to be invited to one there. But it was one of those things like, hey, you did a good job. Or, yeah, here's $10. And the guy's like, oh, great. They take care of you. When I worked at the catering hall, we would say with nights that we'd have these parties with, these, wannabe wise guy Italian guys. And we'd walk out of there with a couple $100 each in tips.
Oh wow.
Because it was like, hey,
Like Goodfellas?
here, they throw you, and the thing is they tip you throughout the night. Like, yeah, they give you $5. And then you keep bringing stuff, and they'll throw you another 5, another 10. Like, well, sometimes if they've been there before and they know, they'll come up to you and be in the night. And they'll hand you $25 or $50 sometimes, and go, make sure you take care of the table. They don't tell everybody at the table they tipped you $50 to cover everyone at the table. Right. So another guy at the table is all impressed now that this great service he's getting. He throws you another 20.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, I got another tipping question. We can stop talking about this if you want.
It's good.
No,
It's
just
That's
You
interesting.
tip
It's
dealers
interesting
at casinos.
I do.
Tip dealers.
I do.
If you're winning or if you're losing.
No, I don't. I mean, so here first of all, I don't go to casinos that often. So,
you're doing very well. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So, but when I have, I mean, it's like, it's sometimes like if in a few cases where they've like gone above and beyond in certain ways, like they've like,
Help you
like
out.
when they recognize that you haven't had a drink for a while and they're like, this sucks, hold on a second, and they're like, can we get drink service over here? I mean, this is ridiculous. Like
Can I
because
get a drink over here, please?
yeah, so it's stuff like that where
Parched.
but I mean, I don't believe in the whole thing of like there's no overarching karma watching out for me to like, if I, make sure that I, that they get their $1 or $2 and I make a good hand or something like that. I mean, it's just like, it just doesn't. And plus,
You ever tip
when I'm
for a
playing,
dealer in play? Like you put your money in play for the dealer? Because you can
So
put like a little
let me tell you
tip bet. Like if you're playing blackjack, you put like $1 on the side, and if
let
the,
me tell you the best story about that, Scott.
Yeah.
We're in Atlantic City, and we're playing craps.
Yep.
My friend has never played craps before. They had at the whatever the one that Merv Griffin was a part of. So they used to have tables in the front that you can go, and they would teach you how to play all the games.
Okay.
So we went and we learned how to play craps. We went over to play craps, and we're there. And my friend is like on this streak.
Yep.
Like he's not winning a lot of money, but he's just winning.
He's just rolling
He's
well.
rolling. He's like on the streak, and he throws $20 on the highest odd thing as a tip for the croupiers.
Yeah.
And the guy rolls it.
Oh wow.
He won. He ended up
Like
giving them, I don't know,
$50 or something.
it was more than that.
Like 25 to 1. Okay.
It was yeah, and
36 to 1.
and yeah, you
Double
yell
six,
out,
double six
oh, I
call.
love this for the
Yeah.
croupiers.
Double six hard way.
Like he ended up tipping them throughout the course of the night more than he made.
Right.
Because every time he threw a tip for them, that's what came out.
It would hit.
But he
Wow.
never threw it for himself either. Like it wasn't like he bet himself and bet for them.
Right.
He would just
I
throw.
always bet hard ways, 2 ways.
Yeah, and it was hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I'll throw. I'll throw money at the dealer. And sometimes it's like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm losing. I'm gonna go. Here you go. Here's a couple of bucks. Thanks for your time. But
So-
I always give him my ones. If there's any ones or anything.
I just
But
do it
let
because
me-
I like watching them click it on the table and put it in the box.
you made me think of something, and it's like, only because of the tipping thing and casinos. So, Jim McManus, is a he's an author slash poker player, and he wrote a book called Positively Fifth Street. Now here's the cool. It was in the year 2000. The Ted Binion, who ran Binion's Horseshoe Casino,
Yep.
was like, two people were brought. He died, and two people were brought up under charges of, like that they possibly killed him, and there was a murder trial for it, and it was
yeah.
it was
I
pretty
remember
big
that.
news. Yeah, it was pretty
Remember
big news, and
Yeah.
so Jim McManus was was an author who he I think it was like for Harper's Magazine or something like that. He said, I'll write a story about that, but I got to go to Vegas to do it. And then so they paid for him to go to Vegas and do research and everything like that. And he took the advance that he got and he used part of that money to enter a satellite tournament that allowed him to get into the World Series of Poker. He won the satellite, like it was $100, or it was like, I don't know what it was, but it was like, it was like he entered, he finished, he won that satellite tournament, and the winner of that tournament got an entry into the World Series of Poker main event. $10,000 is like is the stake to enter. And so he entered it, and he ended up making the final table. And so he wrote a book called Positively Fifth Street, and it's fantastic because it talks both about the murder, but it also talks about like just how he played poker and made the final table in the year 2000, which is crazy, right? I mean, it's just like, that, and what, it was, and it's a really, really good book. If you like, true crime slash poker, go find a copy. You can find a used book on like Abe Books, something like that, for like a couple of bucks, and worth, it's absolutely worth a read, or download it or whatever and listen. It's really, really good. But there's a thing when he finally gets knocked out, and I think he made like $250,000 or something like that. When he finally gets knocked out, they're like immediately he was like, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally out and everything like that. And he was just kind of like, this is crazy because he's been playing poker for like a week. And so they like they he said he was like in the midst of like just everything swirling around, and like he was sad but dismayed but also happy, look, I'm gonna make all this money kind of thing. And they shuffled him into a room, and they were just like, okay, well, your winnings are this. And they're just basically getting ready to write him a check. And then they were like, and this guy is going to like drive you to your house, because everybody knows who you are, and you want to avoid the possibility of somebody like trying to like grab you and make you cash the check and give them the money. And they kind of go through this process. And then they said at that moment, they were like, and you need to tip your and basically you need to tip the dealers. And then he was like, oh. And he's like, how much? And then they basically said, it's customary that you give this much, a percentage of the winnings or whatever. And he was just like, and then he said, I think in the book he even says, to this day, I kind of think it was just like they grabbed me at the moment where I couldn't possibly like, but he ended up like tipping like, 15% of $250,000. Like he
Right.
just gave it away, just like without even thinking about it. He's like, okay, yeah, well, whatever's normal. And then after he's like, what am I'm at, and he asked other gamblers, no, we give like $5,000. It was just like, we don't give that much. And he was like, oh. And then he's like, and I still got taxed for the money that I gave. It was like things like that, where it's just like, anyway, you made me think of that story. But go, if you like true crime / go read that. It's a really, really good book. And well worth, and it isn't,
That
and
Minion story's been on Dayline like a bunch too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, and that's a crazy story too. Um, like they had this idea that they uh basically drugged him until he was unconscious, and then um like basically suffocated him after he was unconscious.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, and then there was like a mistrial the first time, and I forget what, and the retrial, like I think uh yeah, they were convicted, I think, after that, if I remember correctly.
Did you see the Menendez brothers might be released?
Well,
Oh,
it's
really?
like it's out
Okay.
there.
Yeah, crazy.
Huh.
I didn't watch that Netflix thing. It sounds too traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Michelle started watching it and she's like, no, I'm not going to continue. Wow, okay. She likes true crime. She loves it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little too real.
Yeah. I don't remember all the details. So I just remember it was. Yeah.
So who else would
Crazy.
be tipping? So there was
Uh,
things growing up that like
Do you tip the people giving your bags, taking your bags in the hotels, things like that?
if they bring it up to the room,
They bring it up to your room, but what
Yeah,
if they
I
take it
do.
out of your car and bring it in?
I do. There's very few places that do that anymore, though.
Yeah.
The BGG contest. It's a 5-star or 4-star
Those
hotel.
people would be tipped. I tip the chambermaids,
Chambermaid?
the people who take
You
care
want
of your
pillow?
hotel room. Yes.
You want
Here's
pillow?
another question. Do you tip the not if you ever see a housekeeper, do you like leave money at the
So
end
I'm
of your
saying, yeah, I tip the housekeepers.
Okay.
Like it depends. If I go in a place where like they never come in,
Then no.
then no. But if I'm in a place like for a while and like
They come every
they
day.
bring extra if I ask for extra towels and whatnot, yeah, I
Tip
leave
daily or do you tip at the end?
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I leave it on
So,
the
I wonder,
dresser.
so when you do that and there's like different housekeepers, do you think they
They
share?
pull it.
They pull it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I mean, I'm glad they do. I never knew that.
So like growing up, because I don't know, people know it's not like car washes.
Yeah.
Like car washes, you'd go through the car wash, and there'd be a bunch of guys at the end that would
The
that would dry
towels.
the car off.
Yeah.
And there was like, I always had
like a box. It says tips for the boys,
Tips for the boys.
and
Yeah.
I would always tip them.
Okay.
And the reason I always tip them was they actually take time and clean and wipe the car off.
Right.
Like if you didn't tip them or you tip them like shit, they would like basically take like the dirty towels and wipe the car, and then you'd have
You
water
tip
spots on the
before
car.
they wipe the car off, though, or are they after?
So you basically go through the car wash, it's automatic car wash.
Yeah.
Then when you come out at the end, they like wipe the water spots
Yeah.
off the car,
Right.
and like they'll do the windshield and whatnot.
Right.
But like literally, I would pull out, and like the guy in charge of the boys would be there, and I would roll the window down and hand him money,
I see.
and then he would like signal to them, and then
Right. So
they would actually do a good job.
Before the drying of the car.
Yeah, so even when you go through the drying part and the car washes, and they like it still wasn't completely dry,
Yeah.
but like they like actually like clean towels, and they do a good job of drying it, so it doesn't look like you didn't wash it the next day.
Well, so this is a thing that I mean, like for hotels, like it's almost standard now. It feels like in hotels where it's like if you want them to come in and like make the bed and do the thing, you have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just
I
like,
think it's a pandemic thing.
and which is fine. I mean, I'd rather they didn't. I mean, I can make my own bed and whatever. I'm a grown man, you know. But I just find that like
Sure,
it's just it's just ridiculous. It's just like, and it used to be like you had to like they'd come in and you'd be asleep and you're like, hey, I'm still here, just like but now it's like, yeah, they didn't, it's like they don't go to the room until you're out the door.
Well, they used to change your sheets every day too, and they don't do that. They just make the bed.
Fine with that. I don't change my own sheets at home for like weeks.
Right, but that's the thing. They used to come in and change your sheets every
Every
day, and
day?
Yeah, I
Oh
remember
wow.
like now they have the thing like if you want fresh towels, leave them on the floor.
Yeah.
If they're hanging up, we just leave them hanging up.
So when I go to the gathering, they give you a Starbucks discount if you don't have a housekeeping come in.
Hmm.
I'm like, what? So basically, you're encouraging people. I don't know. It's weird. Like you're incentivized not to have an employee, a person come in and clean the room.
Hmm.
Like they
That's
give
some
you
money.
they give you like a $5 gift card at Starbucks per day.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but I don't know. Like it feels weird.
I like the places you go once in a while. You'll see the thing, and it'll say that they're required to come into your room every so many days.
Yeah. Well, those long stays, you have to go there they have to come in the room.
Yeah, it's more to make sure
They
you're
don't
not
want
like running a
they don't
meth
want to
lab
get
in
it too, yeah, they don't want it to get too crazy.
Make sure you're not dead.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yep.
So we're at this hotel in Memphis that my dad likes to stay at, so we just stay here because he likes it. I don't think it's a good place. I'm kind of I'm kind of like we just do it because like it's easier for driving back and forth to my sister's house. But I don't like this hotel. It's not good. It's very, very. I mean, you get sweets and stuff, but it's not good. It's like stinky. There's kind of a smell. It's like musty. It's not a musty smell. It's more like a sweaty smell, and it's old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is there a better hotel we can stay on? They're like, we like this place. I'm like, okay. I'm like, is there a Hyatt in town?
Is there a Hyatt in town?
Because I got Hyatt points, man. But the Hyatt is downtown, which is far. So we're in East Memphis or West Memphis. I don't know where we are. We're in East or West. I don't know. I think we're in East.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Um.
But we checked in. The person was giving us this like speech, and before I could stop her, she gave me like a good 5+ minute speech about parking. Like we, I almost said at the end of it, we don't have a car. Like, I mean, it was literally going on and on. I'm like wanted I. She didn't give a breath to let me interrupt her, so
Yeah,
I didn't, and it just kept
spiel.
going. I'm like, okay, good to know. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Did I talk about my Costco complaint?
I'll be right back. Actually, if you want to wait a minute,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
like 2 minutes. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Fine. I'll wait.
Long as we're peeing.
As long as well, I was gonna go pee, but now I gotta, man.
I thought it was funny. You're like, did I tell you about my? And he's like, I gotta go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Um. Do. Did you see that there's a Kickstarter for Heavy Metal Magazine #1?
Yes.
I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna back it, but it's only like $15 unless you want one of the really cool ones. I think I'm gonna back it. I'm trying
But
to decide.
it's the ones that were made before they came here, right?
The heavy metal?
Yes.
Well, there's like a hardcover version for $60 or $15 for the magazine. I'm just like, you know what, I should just back it for the $15. I think that would be cool.
Right, but I was talking to someone about it, and I thought I was under the impression that it's the editions that came out before we got it here in the States as heavy metal.
I don't know. It says it's all brand new stuff. So maybe I don't know. They're getting me on this. The thing that sucks is that the hardcover for it, like it's the I mean I get what they're going with as far as like the cover, but it's like my least favorite cover of the options that they have available because um there's a Frank Frazetta did a cover and I'm like, well, I want the Frank Frazetta. It's just because Frazetta's amazing, and and that's who I'd want more than anything. Um, it's yeah, no, but I mean, it's like okay, well, but I get the hardcover, and it'd be like, but I mean, like, um, I don't know. I'll back it. I'm probably just gonna pay the 15 and get the Frank Frazetta cover, and then just have it like there. So. I mean, I remember I used to have a subscription to heavy metal. I love getting that. I was like, what would it take for me to subscribe to a magazine? I would probably subscribe to heavy metal again. I mean, because it was just such good stuff. Like there was I I remember I can't there was a ghost story that was like literally one of like the spookiest stories I'd ever read ever, and it was in heavy metal, and it was so well done. And it was just about like an old abandoned house, and people are going into it, and they're just vanishing one by one. It was spooky and creepy and beyond the beyond as far as like stories go. So
I'm back.
you're back. So I might have already complained about this, and I apologize if I have. But I was at Costco like a week or two ago, or I don't know when it was, and I was getting just a few things. And I think I already complained about this. I apologize, but they basically like they had something where it was like, yeah, they beeped my membership, and then like whatever little thing is like, oh, since you come here so often, which I don't. They're like, you could save so much money if you signed up to be our ultimate whatever member. And I was just like, I'm not interested. And then the lady's like, what? I haven't even told you about the. I was like, you've offered this before. I'm not interested. I don't want it. And it's just like, well, but you maybe you don't understand what the benefits are. I said, I don't care what the benefits are. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Please stop asking about it. It's like, I don't want to waste your time. She's like, oh, we don't even have a line. I was like, well, then fine. You're wasting my time. I don't want to hear about it. She's like, well, I can't actually even process you getting out until my manager comes over here and
Right.
like puts in the code so I can get past this. And I was like, well, then get him over here. And I was just like, I don't want it. I just want to give you my money. I just want to give you my money and buy my things. And then the manager came over and it's like, oh, and she explained. I was like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want the upgrade. I don't want whatever it is. Whatever it is. I said, and then they're like, but you haven't even heard what the was. I was like, unless the bonus is you handing me $1,000 right now in my hand, cash. I don't want it. And they laughed, and I was just like, but I was just, it was like, how many times do I have to say no, 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 thank you, no, thank you? And I was like, no, thank you, no, thank you. And then after I had said no, thank you 3 times, I was like, take the hint, just like.
What were they offering?
Just an upgrade to my like Costco membership to like some premium Costco membership where they were like, oh, and then like you'll earn cash back and I don't even who knows. It was some sort of like if you because you go here since you shop here so often and like we go to Costco like once a month. That is not like often in my mind, but they were like, since you shop here so often, you'll get, uh, you'll be able to like, and I could tell you right now, if you want to give me a moment, she's like, if you want to give me a moment, I could tell you right now how much money you'd save today. And I said, I'm spending $27 today. What, it's like, oh, well, today wouldn't be a lot. I was like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I felt like I was just trapped in some weird, surreal nightmare. But yeah, just and they were like, well, thanks for shopping at Costco. You bet. Said this. I'm not even gonna go get my $1.50 hot dog and soda. I'm so mad. But that's not true. I did go get my $1.50 soda.
Is it still $1.50?
Yeah, it's still $1.50.
Wow.
And here's
I don't go to
you know what's
Costco.
really annoying to me about Costco is that when they first showed up and they came to my town, they had Coke products on their fountain soda. And it was like I get a Coke and a hot dog for $1.50. It might have been $1 before. But then they switched to Pepsi
Feels like
products.
$1.50 was always the price.
Yeah. But then they switched to Pepsi products. Which fine. Because Pepsi means I can get a Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
But no. Pepsi,
Pepper.
Diet Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Starry or Sprite or whatever, or lemonade. That's it.
Sorry.
Whatever. Just whatever Sierra Mist, 7-Up, whatever. Those are my
Lemon
options.
lime flavor.
Yeah, those are my options. I was like, and Pepsi, as we all know, sucks. and it's horrible. And it's just like, and every time and then I hear rumors, they're like, oh, they don't even have a root beer. And it's just like,
Ah,
We used to have Dad's root beer at Costco.
oh, the
Dad's
halcyon days of Dad's
I've heard
root
of
beer.
Dad's root beer.
Oh yeah.
And for the longest time when they first came, because they didn't even have Coke or Pepsi products, they had their own soda, but they had Dad's root beer, and I thought Dad's root beer was their root beer.
Oh, yeah. I can't stand that when you're like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And
Right.
people wonder why like I got a call on my phone. It was 8:45 at night. I was at a grocery store with my son and I was sitting there and I got a call and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I should have just let it go to voicemail or whatever. But I answered it because I was like, it's like, hello? And they're like, hi. And they asked for my daughter. And I was just like, how did you get this number? And they're like, oh, this is such and such university in, whatever. And some like God knows what, some little podunk university in like Pennsylvania or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, we were just calling to because of whatever." I was like, and I was just like, "How did you get this number?" Oh, this is, and they're like, "Well, this is a number in our data." I was like, "You know what?" And I just said, "She's already picked a college. See you later." But I was like, I just hate the fact, one, you're not even calling the right person. I was like, but then I realized they can't call her because she's not 18 yet. And if they called her, they'd get in trouble
Hmm.
because you can't solicit a minor for that stuff.
Got it.
I was just kind of like, yeah, no thanks. We're not going to whatever Pearson University or whatever the hell it was. Speaking of which, I got to drive my kid to another university to tour on Friday. That'll be nice. Nothing like me with my cynicism and years of age when I'm like when I see everything they're doing right now is them trying to like, how can we get you to give us money? It's like, well, we really think that we could definitely use your talents on our campus to help us shine. It's the money.
Give us the money, Lebowski.
Give us the money, Lebowski. I even gave her that speech. I was like, you're gonna get told by so many people that like they're like, we think you'd be a real asset for our. I was like, they think they look at you and you're $40,000 a year. That's what you are. You are a number.
Yeah.
It's like it's a transaction. They're gonna give you a piece of paper that's gonna help you get a job in a field that you want to do, and and they're going to get money. It won't even be your money. I said it'll be money that you take out on a loan that eventually you're going to pay 2 or 3 times as much back on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the best. See, I figure if you just get your kids cynical right away, beginning, then they're
Set them up for success.
Set 'em up
yeah,
early.
set them up. Set them up early. All right, I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. Knock something over.
Black screens. What are you
Ye-
guys doing over there behind your black screens?
Nothing. Laying down.
That's
I'm-
fair.
I'm getting a little tired.
That's fair.
I'm walking around,
In the nude.
people dizzy. I did all my cooking stuff, and I didn't go upstairs to the laptop, so I'm still on my phone.
Oh, did I miss initials?
I didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't do it.
I guess nobody made it.
Initial.
We couldn't figure out who won, so we didn't know who. Did you win?
I don't think so. I don't win that often.
I feel like
Lance was.
I don't think it was me.
When we did before and after, he said I was going to do initials, but didn't have time.
Right.
Oh. So it's probably Lance.
Probably.
It wasn't me because I wasn't here. So
That's fair. So Aldi, I have to figure out if I can make it to a part of BGG next year
Oh,
because my daughter's
a lot
birthday
of
is
stuff going on.
No, my daughter's birthday is on the 21st, and my wife, in no uncertain terms, said, "You will be in town."
Okay,
So,
that's probably pretty important. How old?
and I was like, "That's fair." So I have to figure out if I can
You're talking about next November.
yeah, next November,
Got it.
because I think the 21st is like right in the middle of the date.
Is that what our dates are next year?
It's like the 18th through the 23rd or something like that, or 19th through the 23rd.
I see.
What is it? 19th through 23rd. So I'm like, do I come for the 19th and 20th? The 22nd, the 23rd, or do I just skip it? I don't know. I got to figure out because I don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to miss
kind
it.
of if you don't go for the whole thing, it's sort of hard to stomach it.
I know. I don't want
We
to
don't
miss it,
really
but
scale the passes.
Did she say how long on that day you need to be in town? Is the airport in
But
town?
you could take a red eye.
so I don't want to miss it, but I'm gonna do my best to figure out if I can squeeze in.
Got it.
Is there much happening like before the listed dates or after the listed dates, or not really?
I would say almost nothing's happening afterwards.
Okay.
Unless they get a quarter of an inch of snow and then the airport gets shut down.
Yeah, that if there's a shutdown, then you're stuck for another day. Yeah,
Or two or three.
quarter. Yeah, I don't know if it's been that bad. It's been at least a day sometimes.
That one year you got that ice storm.
Yep, that was and they canceled all the flights,
Oh
and there
my
was no
gosh.
ice storm. Everybody was, it was like it was the worst. Like in anticipation of the ice storm, all the flights are canceled. Okay, no ice storm ever came. Okay, all right.
Jeez.
Yeah, because people were like scrambling and leaving early to try to get an earlier flight
Yep,
before
I
they
remember that.
airport down.
I remember that. That was at the that was at the Westin, I think, or was it
I
the
think that
airport?
was like
I think it was at the airport.
last year or the next to last year at the old place.
Yeah, I think it was at the airport.
So if I do have to split it, coming early is better than staying late.
Probably.
All right.
There's always spring,
There is always spring.
but that's a different. It's a different type of show.
Yeah.
Different feel, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all good. It's just different.
Yeah.
But I'm
I would
not
like
sure for your
Right.
uh what you want out of it. Then I don't know.
Yeah.
More of a family show.
Yeah.
So-
I
so-
would like to start bringing her at some point, but she's only 5. You know.
Oh yeah, that's a little young.
So you have the same number of people at both shows, right, Scott? Well,
No,
you
it's
have,
like 1,000.
you have
Yeah,
space for the same number of people.
no, it's different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're maxed out at the airport. So BGCon Spring is as big as BGCon Fall was before we moved to the new hotel.
Oh, okay. All right. And then
Yeah, it's basically
what
maxed.
percentage of that is kids? Would you say?
I would say like 100 kids out of 2,000 people.
Oh, okay.
It's not large. There are kids. There's a kid factor. It's not overwhelming like kids.
Right. Yeah, people bring their kids, but it's
People
not
bring their kids, but kids are not running around. It's not a kids show.
right.
It's still an adult show, but kids are there.
Yeah.
And we require all adults or all kids to be in, if you're under 18, you have to have an adult with you.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah. So kids can't just roam. I mean, they do because there's like times when there's a lot of kids doing stuff
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the adults are not around. Like there's a werewolf night at night. Quite a few kids that go. The older kids, they kind of get a little break on that. But anybody like under 14, I think, has to have a parent. And if we find a kid with no parent, then we have to call the parent because we write it on the badge.
Like,
Yeah.
yo, come get your kid.
Yeah, like your kids have lost. Come get them. At least I feel that's the best solution. Did I tell you guys about the time we went to not PAX, South by Southwest? Some guy left his kid in our booth for multiple hours,
What?
like 2 hours.
A
He was a
person you
young
know.
kid too. He was like I think he was like 12 or 13. They're like, "Where's your dad?" Like, no idea. Like, okay. Lincoln played games with him for hours.
Oh my god.
That was like, wow.
Here, I'll see you later.
It's
kid.
kind of shitty, right? Like your dad left you
Yeah.
at a booth and left you.
You stay
Oh.
here.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like he felt like it was I mean, I almost felt like it was a babysitting service.
Yeah.
Because what are we gonna do?
It's kind
I
of
mean,
messed up.
like it is kind of messed up. We didn't have any.
Yeah.
We weren't selling anything. We were just gaming. Like we were just basically presenting the BGG as a thing, right? And we
Right.
partnered with Tabletop at the time. And Tabletop had their, you know, person there was Bo, and Bo was like, he was not really fit to us at the time. You know, he was just standing there. And we brought all the games. We brought chairs, tables, and everything. So yeah,
The babysitting service.
yeah, BGG baby South by Southwest.
Crazy.
It was crazy.
So I'm curious
Talked
to
about the
see
speeding
how
too.
next week's gonna
Or
be.
almost Lincoln almost got arrested. He was like, "You're lucky you have an out-of-state driver's license, otherwise you'd be in front of a judge right now, tomorrow." I was like,
Wow.
"What?" I didn't know how fast he was going.
Oh, driving.
This was like on the way home.
Yeah.
He goes, "I didn't think I was speeding." I'm like, okay.
Talking about
It got serious, Adam,
Yeah.
for a minute there.
um you're talking about the
It was we were driving back from South by Southwest because we
yeah,
rented a van and got all our
you're
stuff.
telling me about
We
that, yeah.
left and we left late, so it was like a night drive home. It's only like 3 or 4 hours to get home, but it was, we left at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and it was 9 or 10 o'clock when we got pulled over. I mean, it was late, and the guy was like, "You're lucky you're an out-of-state license because I would be taking you to jail right now." I'm like, wow, I'd never heard those words before
Yeah.
from a cop. Like, oh no. So I guess we got pretty lucky.
Why does being out of state make him not take you to jail?
I don't know. I don't know.
Probably extra paperwork or something.
Probably a lot of extra rigmarole, yeah,
And
that he didn't want to
just
do. And Lincoln was pretty, he wasn't confrontational or anything. It was just more
Right.
like, I didn't know I was really going that fast.
you didn't say, "Oh, I dare you."
No, he wasn't anything like that.
We're recording you.
Yeah.
I never even heard how fast we were going because I was sort of like dozing off. It's like in the
Yeah.
passenger seat, and he's just like, "Oh, we're getting pulled over."
Did
I
you
just
see? Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
Did you see that it looks like I mean, this is not to be like talk bad news or, but it looks like um Elf Creek Games is
Yeah.
Yeah, they're defunct, huh?
Yeah.
They're not answering any emails. That's not a good sign.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I know him a little bit, and
I knew Brent and Mike
they're
pretty
really
well.
nice guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice guys.
Yep.
I think COVID killed them.
Everybody's
Yeah.
nice, right? I mean, it's just, yeah, it's hard to run these businesses, man.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
The only problem is like ghosting. Like, I guess
Well,
that
I mean, and I
what
get
are you gonna
it.
say? Like, I don't know,
So
maybe
if it's a situation, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, I think it's a situation where if they, um, like if legally, like you're trying to figure out, like what you can do as far as if it is like a bankruptcy thing or something like that. I mean, you might have a lawyer just telling you you
Right.
can't say anything. You can't say anything. You can't post anything. I know it sucks. I know you really want to say and do stuff.
yeah,
And this is just supposition on my part.
right.
I don't know shit about shit. So, um, it's one of those things where it's like, they can't say anything. They can't be public. They can't just, go up and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." I mean, they have to like let the gears of whatever court proceedings or whatever legalities, run their and before they
I mean,
can.
if you declare bankrupt, you kind of have to say that you're not allowed to really hide that, right?
Well, and yeah, I mean,
If you're
I
not bankrupt,
agree.
then you're still a entity.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't know.
agree. I mean, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, again, I don't know anything. I don't know how it works.
Sure.
I'm
I don't
not
know.
going
I
to
don't
pretend that
either.
I know. So, and I think it's one of those things where they just I don't. And again, I don't know anything about their situation. I don't know anything about what's going on. So don't
Me
read
neither.
anything. But my gut, if it says that they had some initial success. They came out with a few games that were really well received. Um, and then COVID hit, and I'll say this, this wasn't um Josh and Shane for Gray Fox Games. They did the most brilliant thing in the world where they said $15, get a special promo uh for Champs of Midgard, like the game basically that we sell more of than anything other than Deception, and it's an exclusive. It'll never be made again. If you want this, you can get it, and this will help pay to get our shit out of China
Yeah.
when everything was super expensive. And
Right.
basically, I mean, I don't know what it was, but we sold a lot of those, at $15 a pop. So just think, I mean, like, and we were able to use that money to pay for containers that were thousands of dollars at that time. And I heard from many people, and I think if I remember correctly, I heard this from Elf Creek as well. They said that was a really, really, really smart move. We ended up just paying for it ourselves. And that was back when containers were like 12, 15 grand, as opposed to $900. I mean, which and if you have, 2, 3 containers of games, I mean that shit adds up quick. And I mean, it's just like then you start chasing after that money, and the whole landscape of the industry has changed. So I mean, I never played Santa's Workshop. I heard it was really, really good though.
Yeah.
It wasn't a throwaway game, like, oh, it's a Christmas game. It wasn't a throwaway Christmas game. I enjoyed Honey Buzz. I thought Merchants of the Dark Road was good. Um, it's just the one thing that sucks, and I don't know, and this is not just Elf Creek, and I'm not trying to, like, put another shovel of dirt on their grave or anything like that, but um I always wonder, it's like they launched a campaign in June, and I don't know, I mean, it did okay, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like you just hope that they didn't know that they were in trouble at that time, right? It wasn't like they were grasping for a straw to, like, save themselves. And it's like, and if they were, you kind of like say, and I don't know, again, and this is not just Elf Creek, this is any game company. Like they said, if they had a number where they said, if we can just get, you know, uh, $300,000. We can get $300,000, we'll be okay. We'll have our stuff paid for. We will be able to, move forward with this, that, and the other thing or whatever. Then you, like, put that as your goal, as like your funding goal, right? It's just like, because and then you be upfront about it. Like, if we can hit this, we'll be okay. But I understand if you don't say that, then people are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to back this. I'm not going to get my shit. I mean, I'm worried about it. But again, I don't know anything. And I don't want to pretend like I know anything. And I don't think they try to screw people out of screw people out of money or anything like that. It just sucks because they're both Mike and Brent. I mean, saw them all the time, and they're good people. And yeah, so there you go. And then, of course, as soon as you don't talk, then it's just everybody just comes in, and it's just the comments pages are just rife with rumor and all kinds of garbage and supposition and questions and things like that. So but anyway, what do you do? I hope that they hit the ground running and they move forward. So
Yeah.
it's weird. I think there's a lot of companies that are just getting away from crowdfunding as well. I did get invited to the Game Found VIP dinner though on Friday
Oh.
night. So maybe get a I get a free sandwich and
There you go.
I get to RSVP. Anthony, do you want to go to the Game Found
You're
AFC
plus
dinner?
one.
I think all I have to do is tell them how many people are coming. You know, I gotta ask Jerry if he wants to go. So, I think it's free drinks and dinner. So
Well,
like,
sure.
you. All right,
Are you gonna be mad if I have to back out?
Nah,
'Cause
probably not.
I haven't finalized when I'm having my meeting.
Your meeting.
Yes. The
With
meeting
who?
for the thing with the guy.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
the
the guy
stuff.
with the thing and the
Yeah.
and yeah, okay.
In
The guy with the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn thing?
A friend of ours.
Yes.
I started rewatching all of Sopranos again. Such a great show.
Could see that.
It makes you like, and you catch little things each time because it's like you catch little ways that they talk and what have you. Makes it interesting. Makes it cool. Like things you don't catch the first time you do it. Um,
Hey guys, I'm falling
you getting
asleep.
tired?
Yeah,
Now,
run out of gas.
Yeah, we can. Actually, let's. I actually have something to talk about in after hours that won't take
After hours?
long at all.
Okay.
So, everybody who's watching or after the fact, hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Doing whatever it is that you do, and enjoying your family. Please travel safe and be safe. And I don't know. Anybody else got any well wishes they want to say?
Yeah,
Go
well,
Dolphins.
I'm wimping out. Yeah, sorry.
Go Finns!
Go Finns, go Cowboys,
Yeah.
go Lions.
Red Lemonade
No,
will
no,
be
no.
excellent.
Come
dad's
on,
along with
come on,
them.
Bears. Come on, Bears. Pull one out of your butt.
Are they
And
playing the Bears?
somehow, yeah, the Bears are gonna get
Okay,
stomped
which
on.
almost beat you guys, right?
They're gonna beat the Cubs from one end to the other. There's gonna be no Mama Bear doing really well. So all right, everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll talk next week.